Welcome to the Geek Homeworld podcast. I am your host, Ed, aka the Savage Tech Man. We talk film, TV, and tech, all from a geek perspective. You can find us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and you can subscribe and follow on YouTube at Geek Homeworld. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Be a part of the Geek Homeworld. Hey guys.
Hey.
Welcome.
Greetings. Yeah. All right. Everything's
all the junk out the way.
Working. Yeah, I know.
Yeah, making sure that everything's good.
I got my rum.
I never look good on camera because of the face, you know.
Oh yeah. I can't do anything about mine.
Yeah, I have that problem too.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Hey, it's cool. We can tell we're all about the same age because we're all the same shade of gray.
Yeah.
Yeah, mine's coming back. I shaved it. And let's see. I'm just testing out some things here. May the 4th be with you. Be aware. Revenge of the 5th.
So do you stream just to YouTube or you also stream to other places at the same time and podcast and all that stuff?
Well, I'm using the free version, hence the powered by StreamYard in the top right-hand corner. So I can only stream to one thing at a time. So
okay.
I choose YouTube because, I mean, I probably have more people on Facebook, but I don't know.
Or not. No, but I wasn't thinking about Facebook, but this is more podcast. So I thought maybe you were on, you know, a radio platform or something.
He records
I need to be. Yeah.
And puts it just as an audio podcast on a what's the site? Ed?
My website is
shameless plug.
Shameless plug. Oh yeah, it's Geek Homeworld. No, it's geekhomeworld.libsyn.com.
Okay.
And it's kind of a, you know, just the storage. The storage is great. The price is great, and all that. You know, it's like I get statistics and everything, and they're never down. I mean, I think once they had like a minor interruption in service in all the years I've been with them, but so I just swear by the good quality. When you find something that works these days, you stick with it. You know.
Yeah. No. True enough.
Yeah. So I went out today and I got me an SD card so we can go for 17 hours, according to this on this live stream.
Yeah, I don't think I'm up for 17 hours.
Nope.
I could talk that long, but
I know you could.
I could. I made some notes. Oh, sorry.
Wow. I prepared, but I didn't make any notes. I watched my stuff. And
I'll be honest, until Digital sent me the link, I completely forgot this was happening. So let me ask you this, though. I'm going to start with my first question. Did you guys watch The Big Lebowski?
I did. I watched it yesterday.
Uh-oh. I failed my homework assignment.
You failed your homework. All right. I'll be back next week then. See ya.
Ouch.
The Savage Tech Man does not abide.
Yeah, rules. But I didn't have your email address. I don't think anybody, Kayne gave it to me. So, but he sent you the link. So.
Yeah, he did.
For that. Yeah, because and my phone had died because I went and saw Phantom Menace today. So
I watched that today too, but not in the theater.
Not in the theater. I'm going to talk about that in a second. So we're just kind of getting things together here. I'll probably edit some of this down.
First of all, you know, may the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
May the 4th be with you.
Boom. And this is
and
Geek Homeworld,
because tomorrow is Revenge of the 5th.
Yeah. That's why I made that little crawl there.
I prefer the Mandalorian thing. This is the May, you know.
It's gonna be May.
This is the May.
Well, at least it's no longer Imperial March.
No, exactly.
That's clever, but it wouldn't work.
Yeah, I didn't, you know, I just thought it was clever, but it was like too much marketing thought behind that, you know. It's like May the 4th has become a marketing thing, but it actually got
Right.
started by the fans.
Oh yeah,
rather than
it started somewhere in the early days of Facebook or something, and then they got viral.
I'm going to talk about the. Well, I guess we'll just kind of start things out, but let me just. I want to say, oh, I figured out something here. I want to try something before we go, like live stream, which we kind of are already. So tell me if this. Let's see what this does. The camera's going to act weird. Okay, it took me off of that. That's weird. Okay, it's not working.
I disappeared.
There you go. Oh, wait a minute. Are you back?
Ah.
Oh, we don't like that. That's scary. Do we like that?
I do not like that.
Yeah,
no.
that was too close, and I felt up. No, I'm getting claustrophobia.
Here's a story of a man named Brady. That's what this looks like. Brady Bunch. I'm playing with layouts here.
Yes. No, you have to pay to get the 10.
Oh yeah, you do.
Slots.
Well, the thing is, there's all these different ones, but I figured out. I watched a video. You can add cameras because I never bought my second camera I was talking about, but I have another one set up here because I actually did the studio up, and I have I'm trying to integrate my Stream Deck into my whole workflow here, and so that may be another bit of a learning curve for me. So I'm trying to figure that out. But wait a minute. I'm trying to let me get back to the. No, we don't like that one. Okay. Do we like that one?
Like this one. This one is better.
That one's better. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Yes. Everybody's 16:9.
All right, there you go. Oh, look at that. Okay. Everybody's
No, leave it there. No, we're good.
Yeah, we got our own banners too. Okay. Yeah, I'll put that there. Okay. Oops. So I was working out the banners and everything. Anyway, so I don't know. Let's see. I've got my notes here updated on the episode.
Raz, did you pick up Sandstorm yet?
Oh yeah, the review is shot and it's coming out in 4 weeks now. Because I don't buy as much as most people.
Yeah,
and
I'm really not doing many Transformers a lot anymore. If you'll notice on my channel, you'll see a lot of older
G1 stuff
getting
right
reviewed.
now. No, but it you
I was doing the review for Sandstorm, and I was using that Siege Springer in it, and I thought, well, since I got Springer out and I'm transforming him anyway, I'll just go ahead and do a review on him because I never reviewed him. That was, back in the day before I was doing reviews. And then I got to transforming him. I'm like, I hate this son of a bitch.
Oh yeah, Springer is not fun to transform.
And then when they were talking on the live stream the other day, the Hasbro live stream, they were talking about they're going to do a Studio Series Leader class Springer, but they're going to base it off of that Siege mold. I was like, oh Jesus.
Well, leader class means either more accessories or just a different mold bigger to scale. Because right now, Ultra Magnus really changed the scale. Right, because it's way too big. I love it, but it's way too big.
Yeah, it does seem in the robot mode, it is a little bit big.
Yeah, but it's worth it.
Oh yeah, I love that. In fact, I know he made my top 10 list. He was in the top. He might have been number 1.
He was my number 1, almost tied with Brawn. Brawn was really something I enjoyed.
I like that too, and I can't wait till they do the recolor of him for Outback. Yeah. As eventually they're going to get around to it.
Well, I think they're getting too late now. We had, Pipes, and then wave after, we have Huffer. So why couldn't they do Brawn and Outback back to back,
Yeah. And not just that, but where's Wind Charger? Come on, we need a Wind Charger.
He should be.
I know he's not going to be a studio series because the only time you get to see him is he's dead. But if did they even show that?
That would be a bummer. The first mold they do would be a studio series dead Wind Charger and Wheeljack. Because they did it with. Hold on, was that announced? They did Prowl and Ironhide, and then they did Ratchet and who? Oh, Ratchet and Brawn, I think, has been announced, or it's out already.
They can keep. I don't need those.
No, I don't buy that stuff.
Even I did see them on. They were on sale on Hasbro Pulse, the Ironhide and Prowl pack.
Yeah.
For like 25 or something like that, and I was like, nah.
No.
I was like, I got the Earthrise Prowl. I got the Studio Series.
Oh, you have the Earthrise one. No, I
yeah,
have
Siege. I was lucky enough to get, man, the day they dropped that pre-order on Amazon, I was like all over that one.
Yeah. No, I did not. I prefer the Siege mold though. Less fragile. Because there was a lot of QC issue with the Earthrise Datsun mold. And it really, a lot of people snapped the back window or the whole canopy. So yeah, not fun. But the whole thing for Siege was, I like it. So I have Barricade and Prowl, and then I have Earthrise, Smokescreen, and Blue Streak. So just
I was lucky enough to get all of the Datsuns.
Nice.
In
so you have Punch Counter Punch too then?
Yes, I've got Punch Counter Punch too.
Okay.
I did not. Man, on those Amazons. Well, they were Amazon here. I'm not sure what they were.
They were Amazon.
They were Amazon up there too.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is the day they say they're coming out. I'm gonna be all over Amazon.
My sister was able to get me the Paradron Medics.
I like that pack too. I actually think that RC mold looks better. The paint apps on it, because it actually had more paint apps on it. It looks better than
I prefer Lifeline. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna start. I'm gonna keep the stream going, but I'm gonna run the intro and everything again because now that I get everything kind of set up.
Okay, so we're pretending to be surprised. Okay, cool.
Okay.
Yeah, pretending to totally be surprised. So it's gonna quiet y'all, and we have some comments.
Hey M3.
Okay.
Hey M3, what's up?
Dude, man, I haven't talked to you
joining
forever.
Okay. Well, M3, we're about to officially start the stream, so don't go anywhere. Okay. We'll come back to you in a second. Okay. So let me just restart everything because just so you know, behind the scenes thing, my Audacity is not working. It's not working well since I updated it before the last stream. Kayne can tell you about that. So, but I've got the Rodecaster Pro going, and I've tested it. So here we go. So we're going to start with the countdown here, and then we're going to do the 30-second countdown, 30-second intro, and then I'll start the show. Okay. So we're about to start.
Okay.
Here we go. Welcome to the Geek Homeworld podcast. I'm your host, Ed, aka the Savage Tech Man. We talk film, TV, and tech, all from a geek perspective. You can find us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and you can subscribe and follow on YouTube at Geek Homeworld. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Be a part of the Geek Homeworld. Hello, everyone. Welcome to another exciting episode of the Geek Homeworld podcast. I'm your host, Ed Ciucevich of Geek Homeworld. I love that sound effects. Thank you. That's perfect. Joining me today, once again, is Digital Caveman of Digital Caveman Presents.
Greetings.
And Kayne from
Razyel Kayne Reviews. Yeah.
Okay, there we go. Okay.
You can find me on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Steam, Discord, all under Razyel Kayne.
Boom. There you go.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, that's the click that, subscribe,
Yeah, subscribe, follow, watch stuff. So watch how it happen.
I'm not here asking for subs or anything like that, because that would be wrong. But if you sub, that would be great. So sub this channel.
Sub.
You need the subs. I'm at 791, so it's going okay.
I'm at 791.
You're still ahead of me. I'm where am I at? I'm at like 715.
Oh, there you go.
That
was your 7:15 right there.
7:15. I hit 7:15 today.
Okay.
So
I know it's not much, but I hit 55.
hey, that's awesome, man. Every little bit counts.
And it's a slow climb to the top of Krakoa. No, it's Krakoa.
Are you talking about the mutant island?
Yeah, it's Krakoa.
Yeah, that's Krakoa. But that's an island, not a mountain.
It's not Krakoa. It's Krakoa.
No, it's
I don't know. What is it? I don't know what it is. Anyway, so here's the overview.
I have a comic. I can pull it. We can look.
Well, let me.
Krakoa is the name of the island.
Yeah, let me just ask
Kevin
if that's okay.
is the name of the mountain.
Volcano.
Or the volcano.
No, but let him do his stuff. Let me do
my stuff because I'll never do it. So welcome everybody. Sub like hell. Your life depends on it. So yeah, shameless plugs there. We've got our two guests here today. And Raz, I didn't know it was coming. There's a possibility, but I'm glad he's here. Thank you so much for taking time out. I want to welcome everybody here. Overview of what we're going to talk about tonight in the next 17 hours of this live stream. We're going to talk about, of course, X-Men 97, Tolerance is Extinction, Part 1. Damn, this show keeps getting better. And my mind's blown every week. And we're also going to talk, since it's May the 4th be with you, we're going to talk about Star Wars. And remember tomorrow's Revenge of the 5th.
Of the 5th, yes.
Yes. And somebody was making a joke, and they said Revenge of the 6th, and I had to call them down, because that's the thing you do, right? On social media. And they're like,
no, actually, there's a new, I don't know what you call it, a new reference sheet for Star Wars, because there is a, today's, hold on, because now they're saying that it's Revenge of the 6th.
If they're talking about the original 6 films, then yes.
It's something else, like, I don't know, but there was like 10 days of Star Wars references.
Oh, okay. Well, if you can find that, that's cool. You can pull it up.
Yeah, I'll keep popping on the
alrighty.
Scrolling on Facebook.
And tomorrow's also Cinco de Mayo, so as all of our Latin friends say, it's an excuse for Americans to get drunk. So please go to every Mexican restaurant and drink your heart out responsibly.
Yes, because you have to, unless you've already got it at home, because it's
Sunday. Right. Or you may have it
Sunday. It's
I didn't have any blue milk for Star Wars Day, but I have some kind of coffee rum right here.
If you were at the store today buying an SD card, you could have got some blue milk.
No, but I got the rum. It's even better.
I didn't look, man, when I was at the store today, I didn't even go to the milk section. I was like, everybody's gone but me. So I don't need any milk.
Anyway, we're gonna here's something. We're also gonna talk about, my wife and I. We went to see Phantom Menace today on the big screen. So last time I saw it was when it was in 3D, and we can talk about that later. So we're gonna talk about all that. And one of the things I really want to talk about, especially with Kayne and Raz, I'd love to, of course, hear your thoughts. I want to talk about the good times before there was social media, like 1999, when, let's say, Matrix was coming out.
There wasn't huge social media, but you still had, internet chat groups and
you still had haters,
stuff like that.
They weren't as prevalent as they are today.
ICQ, remember that?
I do. Yep. I do. I miss my GeoCities. I used to have a place on Bourbon Street, my website, and it was full of Flash. It had Cartman and all this stuff on the page, and everything was like ADHD.
I remember GeoCities.
I miss that. So we're going to talk a bit about that. I want to talk about the simpler time, and
big old HTML
and focus
for
more
Dummies book
on kind of the positive feel and the feel that we had. I remember like dial-up going in, and every day coming home from work, turning on that internet, and then so I could download part of the trailer. And then
I just had to leave mine running overnight.
That's exactly what I did eventually.
That's how I eventually got the first Phantom Menace trailer, and then I watched it like a gazillion times.
So we're also gonna touch on with X-Men 97 how comic accurate the storylines are. Bo DeMaio gave us homework this week to read Fatal Attractions, which excites me because I was hoping that Onslaught's coming, and I think Onslaught's on his way. So I think we're on the road to Onslaught. So I can't even contain myself. And then we're going to probably talk about predictions for episodes 9 and 10 as we wrap up season 1 of X-Men. So
I'm up to see episode 5 though.
You haven't seen 5 yet?
No, I saw 5 with Gambit.
Oh my God.
And that was such a good one.
Still the best.
Remember it.
But we're even. I even watched those 3 episodes, and you haven't watched The Big Lebowski, so you know.
I had homework that I failed already.
Yeah.
See, I'm in between. It's like our in between semesters.
And you know, I did bonus.
No damn homework.
I did bonus homework, so I should get bonus points because I watched all 6 episodes of Tales of the Empire today too.
Well, and before I forget, I want to do this real quick because right before we went live, M3 Reviews, I noticed had been in the chat since about 3 a.m. this morning. I was like, who the heck is that? I didn't know who that was. So I'm going to give you your props if you're watching this. M3 Reviews, I'm going to show your, I'm going to put up his little messages real quick because he had to actually leave. He said he'll be in touch soon. So he popped in. This is what was on there this morning. If you can see on the screen on YouTube here, little eyes. And he, I guess that's a fist for power. I thought he was like a little clock, like he was waiting.
He was probably wrong.
That was probably when he ran across my Instagram post.
Oh, okay. Well, thank you for winning the award for being here super early. And this is what he said because Raz showed up. He says, "Hi Raz, hi Digital, hi Geek Homeworld. I'm just saying hello. Good to see another live stream. I'm subbing now, and I don't know if that's
okay. So he's on another stream right now. Then
okay. I appreciate that. But I'm currently with Curtis Schultz. I'm not sure who Curtis Schultz is, but
what is it? He goes by Kurt Kenobi on Instagram, right?
Oh gosh.
I think that's what he goes by.
We got to get him on here, you know. That would be fun. And he says, "See y'all on the next one." What else did he say? Okay, that's you. Oh, he said, that was Raz saying,
yeah.
"How are you, man?" I
remember Curtis Schultz, man. It's been a while.
And he said, "I'm good."
A lot changed in the community.
He used to be on Kaz and Bruce a lot, but then he kind of dropped off and started doing his own.
Yeah, but it's kind of I Curtis Schultz. It's one of those guys I used to chat like 4 years ago or 3 years ago. Maybe 4. It was, Cato and Patriot Prime did a lot more live stream then, and we would be 20, 50 people just chatting.
Yes.
At one point, M3 gave $100 to Cato on super chats.
Holy moly!
Yeah. No. Marcos has a fantastic collection. Like you see his man cave. Or his garage or whatever.
It's all boobs and booty.
Holy shit. Yeah, it's all boobs and tits, but he has the most expensive.
So is P. Diddy's.
I would love to
I guarantee you. I know he has that self-transforming Optimus Prime.
Yeah.
And I bet you he has that Grimlock, and I know he probably pre-ordered that Megatron.
Yeah, exactly. You want to see the expensive stuff? It's Marco.
He killed my man, Rogue said. Yeah. Oh, God. I'm loving Rogue. I'm getting over the old lady voice. It was about K-Man knows her old lady voice. Her voice hadn't aged that well.
No, I watched the first 5 episodes, and then Logan, the first episode was terrible. But then eventually, I think Cyclops it's not
the same Cyclops. Yeah.
No.
Because I think that guy died.
Passed away.
It's a little
which is no excuse.
No,
obviously.
Gambit was freaking spot on.
Let me tell you who plays Gambit. There's this Canadian TV show. It's called Heartland. I don't know that if you've ever seen it, but basically it's this family.
Heard about it. I think I heard about it
and stuff. But anyway, one of the guys on there is the guy that voices Gambit. And when I heard that, I was like crapping my pants because I was like, I never would have believed that in a million years.
But is he the same one as the original series?
Yeah. They're all the originals except for Cyclops and I want to say Professor X.
Oh, probably not.
I want to say everybody else is the
Even
original.
Storm, because Storm had like 3 voice actresses in the original series because of conflict and scheduling and distance. Like because they had to fly her in and stuff like that. So
Yeah, I honestly I never noticed, and I'm rewatching it now, and I didn't notice.
yeah,
But
it was
it's
all
just
the same voice.
the way that they do the voice. I mean, she just, I don't know. I guess the director told her, come up with the most pompous voice you can do, because that's the way Storm always sounded to me.
Chris Potter originally voiced Remy LeBeau Gambit. Let's see.
Well, maybe it's a different guy then. Because I know Digital Cave Queen looked it up one day and she told me who it was. I'm like, what?
I'm trying to see on here where it says.
You call her Cave Queen, not Cave Woman?
No, she chose that name.
I love Cave Queen. I think that's pretty cool.
No, I didn't know. I did not know. And it's hot down here.
Yes, she chose that name.
Cave Queen.
Yeah, I love it. Cave Queen. I'm looking in here to see Cal Dodd. We know that's originally Logan. He returned. Lenore's
took him an episode to get it back, I think.
Right. Lenore Zan, Z-A-N-N, originally voiced Raven, a rogue, which is Anna Marie Raven. I forgot that was her name. Rogue. George Booza originally voiced Henry McCoy.
Booza.
Okay.
He's a Booza.
Catherine Disher originally voiced Jean Grey. Chris Potter originally voiced Remy. Allison Seeley Smith, she did Storm, and I think she's still on here as Storm. We have Adrian Hogue, Hogue, I guess. He does Nightcrawler. Christopher Britton, Nathaniel Essex, or Mr. Sinister.
He had the best voice back then. Have we seen him yet now?
Yeah.
Well, first off,
a little bit.
Raz,
you probably haven't seen it. Well, yeah.
Episode
you watched the Goblin
Queen?
Queen?
No, not 5-4. With the Goblin Queen story arc is so fast. It's like
everything is so fast,
and it's done.
I hate that it was like one and done with that, because I so love that Inferno storyline.
Yeah,
comic
I have it. I have like a huge epic Marvel epic collection trade paperback.
Well, I want to ask you, Raz, are you going to have an issue if we spoil things because you're behind?
No, not for that.
I mean, for X-Men?
No, not for X-Men. Like I kind of want to know where they're going, because I mean, there's a lot of Cable, and
they are headed directly into Awesome.
They're heading into beyond Awesome.
You said Onslaught earlier, right?
Yes, they're going. Bo DeMaio came on and said he's been giving people on Twitter or X homework, and he's like, y'all need to read Fatal Attractions before this coming week, which will be episode 8. Is that right, K-Man? Episode 8?
Episode 9.
Episode 9, yeah.
I just got it, Fatal Attraction. I just got it from Amazon, but I'm currently reading the Brood Saga from the Epic Collection, so I don't think I read it before, though.
My favorite X-Men crossover in the comic books is the Mutant Massacre.
I have that.
Because there's so many things that happen there that have long-lasting effects, over the decades.
Where we're going, we had episode, let's see, what did we just have? 8 was Tolerance, this Extinction Part 1. And that's where, when we go into 9, we'll have to know Fatal Attractions, which is this coming Wednesday. And before Part 3, the final episode of the season, I think it's going to end on a cliffhanger where it leads to, because of what happens in 8 and probably what's going to happen in Fatal Attractions or
Are they going to remove Wolverine's adamantium?
I don't think they're going to show it.
I hope that they do not, because I am not a fan of that storyline. For that character.
That storyline lasted 15 years.
It was just And then, like at the end of it,
I was pretty.
they,
pretty
they
psyched
I mean,
turned
the
into
storyline
a
of
monster
Logan
or
without
some crap.
metal, you know?
Dude, of course, what are we? I don't want to. So, spoiler if I'm ruining anything, but in there's that shot of Wolverine with the claws. Is that spoil? So you're cool if I give this away? You haven't read
Yeah,
Fatal
good.
Attractions? Because this is a big spoiler if you don't know about Fatal Attractions. Are you sure?
I know Fatal Attraction. I've
You
read it
do?
before. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Where they show the bone claws. Nobody knew he had bone claws before that. They just assumed they were animating him. Or there was
Well, if you go back and you read the Marvel Comics Presents, and I don't know if you guys remember how that comic used to be set up, but it was a lot of serialized stories. There were like 3 or 4 serialized stories in each issue. And so you had to get the whole story, you had to pick up several issues of it. But there was the Weapon X storyline in Marvel Comics Presents, and it was drawn by Barry Windsor Smith, I think. So anyway, that's beside the point. But in there, they're talking about when they're adding the adamantium to his bones. They say, well, there's an extra drain on the reservoir, like we're losing some somewhere. And that's about all they ever said about it. You never put that together,
right, until
he reveals that he has bone claws.
Yeah.
But basically, when you get to the end of episode 8, Magneto, he does the unthinkable and he lets loose an EMP, frying everything on the planet, essentially anything electronic on the planet. And then just after that, they literally saying it was just really crappy writing. If there's any kind of crappy writing, they're like, Wolverine's like, they're the X Mansion that's all obliterated, of course. And because anything X-Men, yeah. And he goes, I wonder where the professor is. And then the spaceship crashes right into the mansion. And it's Professor X. And he's like, hey, guys,
X-Men.
To me, my X-Men, and does this thing. And somebody said on there, they showed the pictures of the main X-Men. And they're like, oh, he called it only the smart ones.
Nice.
And he didn't need Morph because Morph was creeping somewhere.
He was in the showers creeping.
I know.
Did you pick up on that when you watched that episode, Raz?
The Goblin Queen.
It was the Goblin Queen episode when Morph was creeping on the shower, and he said, "Talking about you need me to come in there and wash your back, Wolverine, or something like that." I mean, it was just creepy as hell.
I don't think I picked up on it. No,
but no pun intended. It was just such a small part of the episode.
Yeah, but it was
So if there's anything we had to worry about wokeness destroying X-Men, so far it has not. So
no,
that's great.
I have not seen.
I mean, they didn't have to say that Morph was a non-binary character, right? Like you could just do the show, and no one cared.
And honestly,
here's the thing that I always say about shapeshifters, and people will say, "Well, shapeshifters they can be whatever they want, boy, girl, in between, whatever." But here's the thing. According to Marvel Comics, mutant powers do not develop until you hit puberty.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So
you have a gender when you're born.
Yeah. Except Nightcrawler. I think Nightcrawler is the only one born. But that's because of his dad.
There is the rare occasion where some are born with like visible mutations, like
obviously he's got 3 fingers.
And speaking of Nightcrawler, man, you got to watch episode 8.
Yeah.
I will. They finally
point,
let Nightcrawler cut loose.
Him and Wolverine they're going against Prime Sentinels essentially, and they're tearing it up. They're both just tag team, and it's great. And then there's a point where Wolverine goes to stab one of the people, and they're trying to get him out because Rogue has been incapacitated when you get to that episode. And they show what it looks like from Wolverine's point of view as Nightcrawler, as he's splitting this dude apart like this with his claws, and they're teleporting. It's in the process of teleportation. where they go into the other dimension or whatever. And it looks like his arms are kind of stretched out like he's going into a black hole or something.
Okay.
And it's the coolest effect. And we've never seen that anywhere. People were just losing their shit over that. And that was one of them. I was like, that is finally.
I'm glad to see Nightcrawler getting his due.
So,
oh yeah.
Basically,
kind of want to see Psylocke again and Archangel. And
I do. You know what keeps throwing me? There was the episode. It was in Bright Eyes when they were fighting Caveman, and all of a sudden, what's his name? Quicksilver shows up, and I'm like, where the hell did Quicksilver come? And the second time I watched it, where the hell did Quicksilver? And then the next thing I saw Juggernaut, and I'm like, holy shit, where did they come from? They weren't here.
Yeah, it was more.
And I was like, I know. The third time I was like, oh, it was Morph. I was like, oh, I forgot.
I think different from Mystique, Morph actually can mimic powers, right?
Yes, I think he does.
Yeah, because Raven can't.
How do you mimic the Sidorak gem, though? The magic of
but you just mimic the super
you
strength.
Just mimic the physical power, the physical manifestation of it, not actually channeling the mystical gem of Sidorak.
But let's see. So this is the official tagline or whatever you want to call it, or the description of Tolerance's Extinction, Part 1. It says the UN reveals that the world that Xavier is alive, inciting an anti-mutant protest outside the school. Cable explains to the X-Men that the Genoshan massacre is a, quote, absolute point in time that cannot be changed, and Bastion will use it to start a 300-year war that will lead to the enslavement of mutants in a human utopia. Cyclops, Jean, and Cable travel to Harmony, Pennsylvania, where they learn Bastion is a human-machine hybrid who was conceived...
so that's Onslaught.
No.
No. I mean, it's the storyline, because Bastion was a machine.
Right, and he came in threatening that Xavier, because I remember about the whole Bastion thing is that he had Xavier captured or whatever, and Xavier either couldn't or refused to use his power after what he, after Onslaught.
It's after Onslaught. That's the Zero Tolerance story. That's
exactly
actually where I started reading. Like, I knew the X-Men the X-Men animated show, but I never read comics. But then I started working at a corner store, and on my time off, I started reading comics. And I just came after Onslaught was over.
Onslaught's probably one of my favorites.
It is. I bought them afterwards, but Zero Tolerance and Heroes Reborn were the stories that I started with.
Yeah. So it says,
I'm sorry you had to start with Heroes Reborn.
Yeah.
Well, it's not that bad. I mean, it's afterwards
except
come back,
for the Rob Liefeld parts.
Yeah, but I did enjoy the Howard the Duck with Artie and it's Howard the Duck, Artie, and Leech with Franklin Richard, kind of going through a type of multiverse where they go to different dimensions to finally realize that it's Franklin doing it, just altering reality.
Franklin creates that pocket universe. I was there for that whole storyline
in his beach ball or whatever.
Yeah, it was like this little blue ball.
Yeah, but that's outside. Like, he created that, and now he's missing his parents because he saved them by putting everyone in the ball. But then they have like a separate adventure where he's just everybody, like, they go to Howard the Duck's homeworld, and everybody's loving him, and he's like, that's not right. This is not my world. This doesn't make any sense that people would like me. So that's when he's starting to doubt that they've not been traveling through different worlds. And eventually they go back to Earth, and the Fantastic Four are there, but they're like two dimensions.
Mm-hmm.
And then Reed figures out that, we're projection of Franklin. And Franklin's like, no, you're real. And then that's how Heroes Reborn ends.
That's almost
Franklin
like what Wanda did with Vision.
Back.
That's almost what Wanda did in a way. And created her own little universe in WandaVision.
Yeah, except that wasn't a pocket universe. She actually took over real people.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's to finish this. It says Cyclops, Jean, and Cable travel to Harmony, Pennsylvania, where they learn that Bastion is a human-machine hybrid who was conceived after his father was infected with part of the advanced time-traveling Sentinel Nimrod members. And then it says members of Operation Zero Tolerance, OZT, which I was thinking it was Ozempic for a minute that they were talking about. They got Ozempic. And
right. Well, mutants get the beatus too.
They do get the beatus. I think the Blob was actually Wilford Brimley, and because he had the beatus. So they Operation Zero Tolerance expressed concern over the massacre and asked Dr. Cooper, who everybody keeps wanting to say is Mystique in hiding, but so far it's still Val Cooper, to monitor Bastion. Who explains to her how he's turning humans into prime sentinels, like Trask using Senator's techno-organic virus. Prime sentinels activate around the globe, attack mutants, capture Jubilee and Roberto, who finally shows his powers. Is it Sunfire?
Sunspot.
Sunspot, yeah.
Okay,
Sunfire is the Japanese guy who shoots fire.
They must have changed it, I see. Anyway, so and they capture Jubilee and Roberto and burn down Xavier's school. I hope they have a good insurance policy. A horrified Cooper releases Magneto, who Bastion creepily. You'll see how he is just really creepy. You think Morph is creepy. Bastion's kind of creepy, where he's shaving Magneto. That's a different
kind of creepy.
Yeah,
that's a different kind of creepy.
I don't know. And a horrified Cooper releases Magneto, who creates a worldwide EMP that shuts down all of the Prime Sentinels. And somebody pointed out nursing homes, airplanes falling out the sky.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about all that.
Traffic accidents due to red lights being out.
Exactly. Wolverine fears that Magneto has declared war as Xavier returns and says, "Hey, did I miss anything?" They're roasting Xavier online because they're like, really? He just shows up. Hey guys, I miss anything?
I'm gonna pretend. Hey, X-Men, see you later. I'm gonna pretend I'm dead. I'm gonna run off into space with my girlfriend.
Which you'll find out, Raz, that Bastion releases that he's able to hack the satellites, the Shi'ar satellite that the X-Men have. And so he exposes the X-Men as liars, that they lied about Xavier. And somebody said, well, somebody need to pay for all them X-Jets they keep destroying, like the Enterprise. So. And they even made a joke about, Jean makes a joke about that. She's like, Hank is not going to be happy.
Yeah, exactly. This is the 5th one this week.
It's hilarious.
Did the storyline with Storm get resolved with Forge?
It does. It does.
Okay. That's where did you?
I want to say it's in episode 6. I want to say
it's episode 6 is life death part 2, because the first part of you saw it with the, I won't call it a throwaway. It was fun for what it was, the Jubilee episode in Mojo World. Motendo.
That was
Yeah, that was.
I don't like there's only 8 episodes. Why would you waste one on that?
I feel like they just were trying to bring a lot of things in.
I think what they were trying to do is give us a breather before going into episode 5.
Maybe episode 5.
The only good thing about that episode was Spiral. And Spiral, I only have 2 Marvel Legends figure. I have Cable and I have Spiral. And then I have Diamond Selects figure. I have Juggernaut and Beta Ray Bill. That's I have a huge, you can see it like right there. Hold on, I'm trying to move the finger. That's my Galactus.
Wrong finger.
So that's my Galactus, which I've had for like almost 20 years. I don't know.
Is that a smoke monster in the back?
Is that the Marvel Legends Build-A-Figure one?
Oh, no. This is a 5th. Hold on. I don't know if it was ever a Build-A-Figure, but it was just something that came with Silver Surfer. A little Silver Surfer. But I bought that in box from a vendor at Comic-Con in Montreal.
I swear that looks like a smoke monster. That could have been
the Marvel Universe one. Does he have like electronics in him?
Yes, it does. It says
that's what it is. It's the Marvel Universe one.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good Galactus.
Yeah, no, I love it. So that's my Marvel shelf. But I will pre-order when it becomes available. I will get that Miss Marvel. I'm a huge Warbird
Yeah.
fan.
Oh man, it sucks. That one's going to be a Target exclusive here in the States.
Actually, I'll let you know, but it might be a DJC collectible available. So
Sweet.
you could get it there. So I don't know. I'm crossing my, like, as he posted that he might be able to get it. So he was testing for interest. I'm like, I'll get one.
Hey Raz, look what K-Man got me for my birthday.
Ah man, I should have. I actually have my TF Con Baltimore T-shirt. I just received it. I made one.
And full disclosure, I would be wearing it since it's May the 4th.
May the 4th, yeah.
I had to wear my Star Wars shirt there, and of course the hat that I always wear.
I have a Rodimus Primal. Guns don't kill people. Megatron kills people.
Oh, I'm like OG Boba Fett, and not that you could really see it that well.
That's a smoke monster. What are you talking about?
Ain't no damn smoke monsters.
You know, I didn't like the Boba Fett.
The show.
Book of Boba Fett sucked.
And you know why? And I don't
know.
I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one who pointed it out, but this was the first time that actor actually played Boba Fett.
Yes, well, he played in The Mandalorian. He played him.
Well, yeah, but I mean, he played
in this era,
and in any era, he played Jango Fett.
He played
voiced a couple clones, but he never was Boba Fett.
They actually in the I don't want to say it was a special edition. One of the editions of Empire and Jedi, they replaced the original voice actor's voiceover with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, he did good on as voice acting. He did good with what was it? Republic Commando. And
did he do the voice in that one?
He was. I know he was the. I think he was the. Because I don't know if he did all the 4 voices, but he did at least the leader of the squad.
God, it's been a while.
And the guy knew nothing about video game because he's like, so if you're playing me, I'm the first player. I'm like, no, you're not. You're a character. I'm the first player. You know, like it was just weird. Like hearing the interview or whatever the promo spot he was doing for, and the guy knew nothing about,
Yeah, I wonder, did he do the voiceovers for the Jango Fett game too? Jango Fett,
probably,
Hunter,
but it was his first time on screen playing Boba Fett when he did that, and I don't think he had it. Because it's not the same as Jango. He did great as Jango.
I think a lot of that had to do with just behind the scenes, the people who wrote it, the people who were directing specific episodes.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
And the quote unquote agenda that they were trying to stuff into it. Oh, let's take Boba Fett, who's supposed to be the most badass bounty hunter in the galaxy. And he wants to take over Jabba the Hutt's old territory as a gangster, but he wants to be a kinder, gentler, more humane gangster.
Which is, not the way. I never liked Boba Fett. Like any version. I watched a video about, I don't know, 5 years ago. I think it was, I don't know which channel, but it was called Boba Fett is an Idiot. And they pointed out everything he did in Legends and in the TV series. The movie franchise and everything, that just points out that he is a lousy bounty hunter and he is actually an idiot. Like he fell in the Sarlacc 3 times. 3 times.
Yeah.
So it's just those type of things, and it was just, I don't know. I never liked cool armor, but what did he do? Like in Empire Strikes Back?
We never got a chance.
Well, just remember in Empire
see
Strikes
how
Back,
badass he was.
He was the only bounty hunter that Darth Vader directly addressed. So there was something going on there.
Well, there's a fan theory that says, and it was a dumb one, that said that they used Boba Fett to track down in episode 4, and he's actually the one that would have disintegrated onto Uncle Owen and on Peru. And I'm like, no, that makes no sense.
No, Vader actually commanded. He gave the order to do that.
Yeah, and I actually hate the fact that in episode 4, when they did the remakes, the remaster and everything, that they added Boba Fett to the Han Solo scene where he's stepping on Jabba's tail.
I never understood that. They made it seem like he just worked for Jabba the Hutt, and that's the only person he ever worked for.
Yeah,
well,
that's
we never in live action, even in the Book of Boba Fett, that should have been the show where he was just badass, but he came back watered down, Disneyfied, and it really was a waste of a character. Fennec Shan was more badass than he was.
Yeah,
in there, and because anything that actress is in, she's badass. And the thing is, they just wasted once again in Marvel, Disney, what do you want to call it? They wasted not Marvel. Well, Disney wasted a perfectly good character, and now he wants Tamora. Is that his name?
Yeah,
Morrison.
Tamora
He wants to
Morrison.
come back, just like Obi-Wan. Ewan McGregor wants to come back, and he wants another season of Obi-Wan, so it can be the way the fans want it. And Tamora wants to come back, and I'm like, you've already spent your load. You kind of ruined things.
I'm done.
There's
I'm
no way.
absolutely done with, because we just canceled Disney Plus because we weren't watching it. So I have to wait for X-Men to come out on other sites.
Starting today, and thank you, K-Man, for this, because I don't know how I missed it. I thought there was only one episode, but they dropped all 6 episodes of Tales of the Empire, which is a riff on Tales of the Jedi, which was awesome.
Which was okay. I like Tales of the Jedi.
That was very good.
Okay.
The best part of Tales of the
too.
Jedi were the episodes that focused on Dooku.
Dooku, yeah, that was interesting because we learned some new stuff we didn't know. It's nice to see him and Qui-Gon.
Well, that he went dark side because the council didn't, cause Qui-Gon's death.
He was already headed that way, and he was, he had already been meeting with Sidious.
Yeah,
and just Qui-Gon's death is what pushed him over.
Exactly. So, and it's my son is big on Star Wars, and now he's a big Anakin fan, not Vader, Anakin.
Yeah,
and a lot of people are Anakin fans.
He was really happy to see him in Ahsoka, which the Ahsoka series I hated.
I liked it a lot.
I didn't hate it. I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it.
The stunt work was terrible. It was almost plastic. You could almost see Rosario Dawson going like this on wires. It was just so. I would have rather them CGI'd it. Her on the outside of the ship was a little unbelievable. That was more Anakin level. That we probably should have seen.
It wasn't. It was just like a rebel. Let's
it was rebels,
real life characters that were there.
Right. And but the thing is, what it did do more than anything, which bringing in the Night Sisters was really good, but bringing the idea of another universe with different, physics or whatever, is fascinating to me. That can add a lot of really new ideas. That at this point,
is it a new idea though? Because in Legends,
something
they did that,
maybe in Legends, but we hadn't seen it in live action. So to bring it, I got a problem with them basically raping Legends and picking and choosing. That's where Rey came from. They grabbed this and put these things together and made an abomination. And we see where that.
But you have to take the good with the bad. You do. Them doing that to Legends. We got to see Grand Admiral Thrawn.
Which I'm sorry though. Yes, but he needs to be more badass. Action. He needs to be more badass. He just kind of.
But dude, he's not a badass. He's a thinker. He's a planner. He's a schemer.
He is. He's a Steve Rogers. He's the kind of strategic thing. He's a Scott Summers. He's very strategic. I get that. But I need more.
That's his thing, though.
Yeah. It is.
And he's badass at it.
But
he's more of an apocalypse.
Yeah,
I find. The mastermind trying to.
True, but Apocalypse can back that up with brute force and he can. Yeah, Apocalypse is on so many levels different. But you're right in that sense. Now, like Tales of the Empire, which is, I thought it was interesting. It wasn't Tales of the Sith, because you would think Tales of the Jedi, Tales of the Sith, but it's fine. Tales of the Empire, and more focusing on Morgan Elsbeth, at least in that first episode. I'm definitely going to go after this. Going to go watch the rest.
Oh, you haven't watched them all yet?
No, because I literally, I swear, I looked at
say
Disney
nothing.
Plus. And I just thought it was one episode there, and I was like, oh.
There's 6 episodes altogether. 3 episodes. The first 3 episodes are Morgan Elsbeth. The last 3 episodes are Barra Sophie.
Okay. Anyway, before we leave X-Men and get on, we kind of already started on Star Wars. Is there anything else we want to say about X-Men 97 so far?
It's getting better and better. So at some point the balloon is going to burst.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's, usually it's a lot sooner, and it hasn't happened yet. And that's what's blowing my mind is like, I am of the, no matter what Bo DeMaio supposedly did, and if, assuming it's not something atrocious, they got him fired, other than being a gay man with an OnlyFans page, if he, unless he did something really heinous to someone other than was difficult to work with. Everybody is difficult to work with, to an extent. But assuming he didn't do something atrocious or really horrible, that's unforgivable, if I were at the head of Disney tomorrow and I had all the different, Star Wars and Marvel, I would say, listen, he is now the head creative lead writer for the live action X-Men films. I would peg him. I would, in fact, if anything, I just said that. No, I would not peg him. I would appoint him. Let me rephrase that.
Yeah, that's better language usage there.
Because I guess on the OnlyFans page I would peg him, but no, no, I would appoint him as like the lead storyteller, or whatever, because he gets it. He knows exactly what that $1 billion corporation does not know.
He's a fan.
The fans. He's a fan first. And if he wants to put a little of his social agenda in there, I don't like all of that wokeness. But so far, when at this point, it's about 99% versus maybe a glimmer of wokeness. But I am the balance, dude. Yeah. The balance is perfect, because
yes,
I'm of the thinking that it definitely should be put him in charge, because he gets it. He knows the storylines. He's pulling straight out the comics, not word for word, not frame panel for panel, but he's getting the general idea of the stories, and he's building upon them. And me and Kayne talked about this before. What terrifies us probably both is that they are burning through comic storylines in episodes, in 30-minute episodes. But what they're doing in 30-minute episodes, a $200 to $400 million film, Marvel film, cannot do. Apparently, they can't tell a story and spend.
They used to could.
They used to could back in the day.
There's a rumor. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah. But like, and that makes me think that 16 years ago this week, Iron Man came out. Does that blow your mind?
It changed so much. Like it was so good, and now I have lost complete interest in all of it.
Part of, and that's the danger, that the fact that they have gone so far off the rails and it would be okay. Well, it wouldn't be okay, but if it was just Marvel. But it's Marvel, it's Star Wars, it's anything they touch. They're like the freaking Borg. They've infested everything. And now we've got to somehow bring it back from the edge. And maybe it was kind of like they got to Endgame and they're like, there's nowhere to go but down. Because for me, they could have ended the MCU at Endgame. That would have been, they should have.
Yeah, that was the last really, I mean, after that, it was all just kind of downhill. Right. I mean, we've had a few good pieces since then. Like after Endgame, we had Spider-Man.
We had WandaVision.
We had WandaVision. We had Loki, which I enjoyed. Loki
was enjoyable.
That I didn't like, but
Hawkeye
overall I enjoyed it.
Hawkeye
was garbage.
Hawkeye was like the Kate Bishop show. It was the Kate Bishop show.
Everything in Phase 4 was garbage except for Spider-Man, No Way Home, and I won't say that Multiverse of Madness was completely garbage.
Guardians
was that
3.
Phase 4? No, that's Phase 5.
No, phase 4.
Yeah, no.
We're still in phase 4.
I
We're
don't.
not in
I
phase 5
don't
yet.
No,
remember
we're
the
not. We're
phase.
in
But
phase 5, dude.
No. We are in phase 5. But phase 5 started with Ant-Man, which was a big
No,
mess
that
up.
was terrible.
I didn't hate Ant-Man. I did.
No,
I
the
don't
Quantum
think.
Mania.
I don't think that was
But,
the right tone
dude,
for an Ant-Man movie.
You skipped right over Guardians 3. That and Spider-Man were the two best things they put out. Now,
Yeah,
I did like Doctor Strange.
3 is phase 5. It's not phase 4.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter. Okay.
But
Doesn't
anyway,
matter.
yes.
But overall, if we're talking about the
few
overall quality,
good
but yeah.
ones.
But
No,
I
it's
liked
good.
Doctor Strange, but I hated how they undid Wanda's character. She was a great villain in that film, and yeah, it looked like a badass film. But it's such a long film, and in the whole multiverse, we got just a snippet of them.
Yeah, we didn't get much.
You know.
Well, the thing is that they, because now the only movie I'm eager to see is Deadpool 3, right?
Yes.
And
the
to
only
me,
one this year.
if I think that's a good thing. Let's just forget everything for a while. Stop making new shows. Just do one good movie that's going to bring in everything. And I hope they bring it the right way. But I don't think there's a lot of missed opportunities already.
Kevin Feige turned down 18 drafts of Deadpool 3 from Ryan Reynolds, his pitch. 18 of them. He turned it down before this one that actually made it through.
And now they're going to do Secret Wars with Hugh Jackman and Tobey Maguire, which I love them, but it makes no sense with the current MCU lineup that we've seen. So how they're going to bring, I don't know. It depends, but I really did enjoy.
I didn't read.
There you go.
Oh,
I didn't read
just
that.
Threw that in there.
But the 2015 Secret Wars, but I watched a video on it the other day, and basically what it is there's a race of Beyonders, and if you remember the 1984 Secret Wars, the Beyonder. Well, the Beyonder was basically he was just a child of this race of Beyonders who live outside.
What? No, the Beyonder was everything in that universe.
That's what he said. Well, later they retconned it.
Okay, no, I'm not gonna watch Secret Wars.
Anyway, there's a race of Beyonders, and they have this, the universe, the universes, the omniverse is a big experiment that they are doing, and they created Owen Reese, the Molecule Man, in each reality. And he's basically their way to destroy everything. And that's where you get the incursions, if you ever heard of that. So like when they get ready to destroy stuff, they blow it up using Molecule Man. But Doom figured it out. And he's the one that's trying to stop all this stuff from happening. And eventually, 616 is one of the last universes left, and when it ends, Doom uses the power of the Molecule Man. He has captured the Molecule Man. He uses that power to create his own little world based on pieces he plucks from here and there throughout the multiverse.
Okay,
that's interesting. Well, I just want to pivot back for a minute because I'm sorry I didn't see when you put this up there, Raz. We have it on the screen if you're watching the YouTube version of this, Star Wars Week, and I disagree with some things on here already. Explain this. What is this, Raz?
That's just something that I saw on Facebook. It's actually from Reddit, and basically it's just people having fun, So you have Star Wars Week. This is the May. And then you have May the 4th. There's always a bigger 5th. There's Revenge of the 6th. I am the 7th. I find your lack of 8 disturbing.
That's funny.
A 9 addition to my collection, and it's 3s and 10. It's just people using every phrase possible to, cover the month of May. So, yeah, that was just a little something. Sorry.
Cool. Well, that's cool.
Nope.
Oops, hold on. Sorry. I just snapped you out of existence there.
You did.
Caveman.
Thanos to me.
I Thanos you. Thanos was right, just like Magneto's. I want that Magneto's right shirt.
Oh, you want me to tell you something about Thanos? You know, he was an environmentalist.
Was he though?
Come
Yes,
on, man.
He could have
He's
used
a
his
nihilist.
tree instead
No,
of
man. He was an
His
environmentalist because
version,
he
yeah,
wanted
but-
to save the universe from being used up by all the beings. So that's why he cut everybody in half.
Let's just
Or
call it
cut
the
everything in
happening.
half.
You know, oh, the trees are hurting.
But you do know that's not the right. That they should have introduced the character of death. So that would have made way more sense. And
you know,
they could have used her in Deadpool.
Because to
At
challenge
the
the
end of
Avengers, the
Avengers, they
is to
kind of,
court.
you know, it's almost like they're leaning into that. And you know,
they were,
where his guy says at the very end, something is
I just said it.
And Thanos just smiles.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, that's the thing
would
is,
be, you know, the equivalent of courting death.
To challenge the Avengers is to court death, and then he smiles, which is not the original Thanos. It was the purpley version of him, you know, because they ended up I don't think they had Brolin in that.
No, he's not. Brolin came with, I think,
I'll do it myself.
The Galaxy, or
is that when he put in the
I'll do it myself.
He puts the glove on when he gets the glove.
And
then Odin's old you know, faking it. He's got a damn fake Infinity Gauntlet in the Hall of Weapons or whatever,
which makes no sense. Story wise, Thanos forged it not long before he used it. So what's that gauntlet there? You know. So
I saw a thing the other day. It was Magneto versus the Avengers, and it was like, I don't know if you guys remember the old Super Nintendo.
Yeah. It's from the Dorkly studio. I love Dorkly.
And it was like Captain America's there, and he's giving a speech, and he throws his shield, and Magneto just like flings it off with his magnet. You're really going to attack me with a metal frisbee? And then
Iron Man
shows up, and he just crushes him. And he's like, really, a guy in a metal suit? And then, you know, Captain America brings in the Hulk. He was like, Hulk smash. And he's like, you're really going to send him after a Holocaust survivor? And Hulk was like, me no want to fight Holocaust survivor.
It's terrible.
Do you have a robot now? It's like, no, we're going to stay here where it's safe.
But like, so today we got to go see Phantom Menace, and I really tried to put myself in the guise of what was it like pre-episode 1. And before we kind of went live on the actual podcast here, we were kind of talking on the stream, us three, about it. You know, I remember how, and Caveman and I have talked about this over the years. We kind of agree that our hype level was so, and this is pre-social media, pre-smartphones, pre all that stuff. Yes, our level was
not pre-internet though. The internet did exist.
Dial-up existed for us at least. And my big HP desktop computer with the CRT monitor and the slow dial-up and the 1,500 minutes of AOL or Netcom or whatever I had on the disc, and you know, all that fun stuff, and my little speakers, my tiny little speakers, and all that. Anyway, but our hype level was like way off the charts. That when we went to see episode 1, which I actually was in my local hometown paper for seeing it 4 times in 24 hours, and I repeated that with a lot of films since then. And but that tells you the time frame of things. And I saw something on the internet that made me think about all this, and there were like some Gen Zs out there that were like, how did y'all know to meet up at the theaters? And all the people we used to do that. This is when you could go dressed up to the theater, and you could be so hyped. And when you went there, everybody was, even if they disagreed with Star Wars, the direction of it, at that time we hadn't had Star Wars for about 14 years, so we all had this pent up.
Not really. The special editions did come out in like what was it?
97, 2 years before 97, 2 years before that. But the hype leading up to that was beyond. Of course, we were going to be let down.
You could pay $8, the price of a movie back then, just to watch the trailer.
There was a film, because they put the trailer on, and it was real popular.
Meet Joe Black was the first showing they had of the trailer, and there was just people that they went to see that movie. They went to see it for the trailer. As soon as the trailer played, they left the damn theater.
I think I did that. Poor Brad Pitt, but he had a big hit on his hands just because of that.
It made a ton of money.
But the thing is, back then, were there haters to George Lucas? Yeah, they're part of the reason why he gave it up.
People were hating because of the special editions. They hated the changes.
And now, and I watched. There's a video that I watch, and he's been doing it for about 15, 16 years on YouTube. He's a guy with like black hair, and sometimes he has a beard, and he's kind of, he talks like this, and he's like usually got a red screen behind him. I can't think of his name right now. And he was talking about, and it made me his review of Phantom Menace, the 25th anniversary. And he was talking about, even when we hated or disagreed with each other over Star Wars, we still weren't toxic towards each other. We weren't,
right.
Because there was a while there where there was so much hate for the prequels, but if Disney did anything with their sequel trilogy, they made us appreciate the prequels much better.
They definitely those movies polarized.
And there's a couple of things that
you either loved it or you hated it.
Right. And this was back in the days too, where, and I want to go off on a tangent here, but you were either for a while you were a Star Trek fan or you were a Star Wars fan. You couldn't be both. And
I never agreed with that.
I never agreed with that because I
always a fan of both.
Me too. And I saw a thing.
I never understood why they tried to make fake animosity between the stuff because it's two different things.
Yeah, well, Patrick Stewart. Well, I don't want to go down this road, but Patrick
Star Trek is science fiction. That is what it is, and Star Wars is space fantasy.
Yeah, right. You know what's the greatest proof of that though is William Shatner opening the roast of George Lucas.
Yeah,
that. When he walks in, he's like, ain't these conventions great? And it freaking killed.
Yes.
And it was just, to me, that was just like, all right, we're telling everybody that you can love both,
Right. Well, Patrick Stewart put on his Twitter today, he's like, may the force make it so.
Yeah.
He was there with it. It's like,
may the fourth make it so. May the fourth
make it so.
Of course, it's May the 4th.
Yeah. That was a good one. And I guess he was there with I assume it's his grandchildren or something. And it was just like, that's so cool, and that made me think of how you could still mix things that way, the fandoms. And, we're so toxic. We're so divisive. And I don't know. I know everybody in Canada is super nice and they get along great with everybody.
So no, we're not.
Fight. They're not in different
camps. Presented by the actors we send over. We're a bunch of assholes like the rest of you guys.
Okay. I don't know. We're a different level of asshole down here in the state. We'll hate you in your family tree. No,
your racism is more open. I'll give you that. We're quieter.
Y'all are closeted racist.
Closeted racist. Yeah, no, not me. But I mean, it's that was the thing. One thing Bill Burr said, comedian. Fantastic comedian, and he's like, when everybody was saying that they were gonna move to Canada if Trump was elected the first time, and he's like, it's still white people over there, there's still white people over there.
Yeah. Anyway, I don't want to go down that road. God knows.
No.
I can't get canceled. I don't have any followers. If I got canceled, I couldn't watch my own podcast. But anyway, so it just made me think. Just saying all that made me think of the simpler time that 1999 was, and I'm trying to think, when did Matrix come out that year? Because it came out in 99.
It came out in the summer, didn't it? No, it was in the fall. It came out in the fall.
So we had Star Wars, then we had the Matrix. So this was still pre-Matrix, which Matrix changed you change things, you know.
Oh, and my
Yeah.
God, did they run that bullet time into the
They did.
dirt.
But the thing is, with
Yeah.
that, saying all that, what are y'all's thoughts like leading up to seeing episode 1 for the first time?
Oh man, I was just so rabid. I was so hungry for it. I had
Yeah.
been reading all the books and all the comic books, and I was like, I was so ready for it. And I want to say I went and saw it like 5 times in the theater. And
Episode
the only one of
episode
the
3.
prequels I saw that many times in the theater was episode 1. Like 2, I might have went and saw it twice, and 3, I might have went and saw it twice.
I think episode 1 I saw. Episode 2 of the prequels I saw the least. And it was maybe 3 or 4 times. I want to say I saw the first one 5, but I know that I saw episode 3 8 times, which tied my all-time record that was held for many years by Terminator 2 from like 92. That held my all-time record of like 7 times I saw a film in the theaters, which I lived in the theaters. And back then you could afford to do it, you know. And even if I couldn't afford to do it, I did it anyway. Because I just love.
Yeah, you could do it,
but
now, shit.
So you know, that was the only prequel I went and saw 5 times, and you know, I didn't hate it, I didn't love it, but the more that you watch it, the more that you understand that it's just the beginning of the story,
right? And
a lot of people didn't recognize it for that at the time. They were just like, oh, this is just horrible. Everything is clean. Right. Nothing looks like Star Wars.
Well, I had a problem with that at first. You know, I was like, why is everything so pristine and clean? And this is in the past. But you have to understand what the galaxy went through with the rise of the Empire, and you know,
and just through the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. You know, and my God, the Clone Wars, they could just keep making Clone Wars shows in that time frame. I feel like that's the golden spot that they've with this generation, because part of the hate of the prequels, I blame on the parents. I blame on the Star Wars fans at that time that were disillusioned.
It's basically our generation.
It's our okay, let's blame the Gen Xers then, which they don't care if you blame them or not. You know, I'm a Gen Xer and proud to be a Gen Xer.
You know,
but the thing is, I don't have any kids. Not that I'm aware of. No, I don't have any kids. But the kids, and I saw a report years ago talking about this, and it stuck with me that it was a generational thing. When the original trilogy came out, unlike my parents, I mean, they were kind of older, so they didn't really get Star Wars. But you know, in the 70s, in the 80s, your parents took you to see it. Then you grew up on Star Wars. You were in love with the original trilogy growing up. You had kids. The prequels came out. You took them. You know, but the thing is, the people that grew up with the prequels or that
that's their original trilogy.
That's their original trilogy. It's their original trilogy. Yeah. And their parents didn't, and they were some of them were disillusioned and didn't pass that tradition on to their kids. So this hate or lack of love, if you want to call it that, for Star Wars, there was a big gap there. And so that made the prequels kind of fall down in a lot of people's eyes. And yes, the quality of them weren't as great as the originals, but people don't realize what George Lucas, how he's pushing the medium of filmmaking. Like people like Cameron does, Ang Lee does. Who am I missing? Who's the other great? Scorsese, other people like that push the medium, but the ones that push it technologically, like Cameron and Lucas, Spielberg. Yes, thank you. How can I forget Spielberg? You know, they don't do a film unless they're advancing things. He's one of the digital Trinity, yes, that we created.
We're putting Cameron as the Trinity?
No.
Trinity.
We started way back when we used to podcast, and what was that?
Digital Man Cave podcast.
7? Was it 07?
So it's Lucas, Spielberg, and who?
Lucas, Spielberg, and Roddenberry.
Right. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's how it should be. That's the original trilogy.
Put Gary Gygax in there, and then you have like My Childhood.
But you know, if we had to, that's an interesting topic for another day about updating our Trinity or whatever. I'd put Cameron in there. because
No.
Cameron
I don't
gave
think
me.
I don't think I would put
Protect-
Roddenberry in it anymore.
Well, yeah. Well, he's not
And
technically producing anything.
well,
'cause
it's I
he's
mean,
dead.
it's not about that. It's just
The people
you
that
know,
follow behind him.
over the
Trump.
years, you learn things about stuff that was going on behind the scenes, and you know, the reason that the Next Generation's first 2 seasons were so bad, was because of Gene Roddenberry.
Yeah. No, I heard that.
Yeah. That's definitely
But, I
possible.
mean,
And if you ever have the opportunity to watch it, it used to be on Netflix. I don't think it is anymore, but there's a documentary called Chaos on the Bridge. It's an excellent documentary, and that's what it's about. It's about what was going on behind the scenes of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
Okay.
And I wanted to tell you guys this, since y'all didn't go to the theaters to see Phantom Menace, and I think it plays through this week. It's more than just like today.
Not here.
Oh yeah.
Well, no, I'm not. I'm saving my money because I have
Well-
another project.
Well,
on,
oh.
Go ahead. Yeah, I have
Well, I was
another
gonna
project on May 15th, which I will be watching the original 4 episode of Transformers on theater, and that I'm excited.
Okay.
I mean, I could watch them now, but I just need to watch it on
It's
theater.
a different experience to watch it
Yeah.
in a theater surrounded by fans.
Let me tell you about
just watching it on the silver screen. You know,
there was a pretty decent amount of people. We went to a 325 showing today, and you know the theater wasn't packed. It wasn't a big theater, but it was one of the smaller theaters. But it was a decent crowd, so I was kind of happy for a matinee that it was that. But I saw more than these. Are a couple things that I liked. I looked around because I'm just kind of in a nostalgic, kind of trying to put myself in the time frame of really appreciating this like it was the first time I was seeing it, or like in 1999 or whatever. And I saw in the same row there was this father, and he had a really young son, and they stayed for it, and they watched the film. And then I saw a father with another young kid, and then I saw, so I saw some families in there, and that gave me hope that they're passing.
Yeah, I mean that's a good thing to see.
And it is, and that's something that, like I said earlier, that we missed from people having the automatic backlash to the prequels. That they weren't everything that they thought they would be, but they were still in the grand scheme of things. Especially Disney proved the point more than anything. They've really made it where people love the prequels now, and the fact that they brought back so much that Hayden Christensen has come back, and a lot of and
Ewan McGregor actually wanted to come back. After all those years, he was talking about Star Wars was the worst thing I ever did.
Yeah, and then when his career didn't do as well, then he's like, okay, I better go back. And
that first convention he went to where everybody's clapping for him, and he realized, oh shit, people actually like what I did. So
but to see that generational thing was a good thing. Another thing that y'all don't get to see, and I'm going to tell you about it. So they had a sneak peek at the end of it after the credits of the Acolyte, and then they showed it was about 5 minutes, and then they showed the trailer that you've all seen, the latest trailer. What it was is, and is it Carrie-Anne Moss? Is that her name?
Yes, Carrie-Anne Moss.
She was Trinity, right, in Matrix.
Yes,
right?
She was Trinity in Matrix.
She is freaking badass in this clip, because you have whoever that girl is that's got
the knives, and then she comes disintegrating them with her lightsaber.
Oh yeah, she does all that whole scene. So y'all have seen that? Has that been online?
I've seen that trailer. Yeah, I saw it on YouTube.
Well, it's about 5 minutes.
I saw it by accident. I wasn't looking for it.
But some of the choreography and moves are better than that, like I've seen in the Ahsoka. Yeah. And I'm not saying this is going to be better than Ahsoka. I like since possibly, but there's some things about it in the timeline and where it's at, and I think it might be a little woke, but okay, it's mainly female antagonist or
it's in the High Republic era.
So I'm trying to be as open-minded about it, but the idea of the Acolyte I really enjoy. Now, before we went live, I saw just how you see a title of a YouTube video in Star Wars Theory. He says an angry rant about the Acolyte, and I was like, oh god. I'm trying to keep an open mind, and he usually keeps a very open mind, but he's very pro George Lucas, as am I, and what George's vision is, and But what I saw from that 5 minutes before the trailer, I thought was pretty badass. Action wise, it worked really well. I thought the
Well, the
stunt
action
choreography was
isn't
good,
usually the problem,
but
except
the
for
idea
in
of this,
The
of
Last
what
Jedi.
she's going through, and then when you tie in the Tales from the Empire with Morgan Elsbeth, I know they're different, but they kind of complement each other. It kind of puts you in this Sith kind of mode and kind of mood. So depending where both of them go, right now I'm excited and I'm trying to remain excited. I'm trying to look for life out here, in this barren wasteland of good Star Wars stories. And
Yeah.
I'm desperate for something new, and I'm burnt the hell out from every franchise I've ever loved, pretty much, except
Yeah.
Terminator can't do
am I.
that to me. Terminator can't do that to me because I love Terminator too much, and I love Star Wars too much.
Oh yeah, how much do you love Terminator? Did you love the Terminator TV show?
Sarah Connor Chronicles.
I
Yeah.
actually
Hold
did
on.
enjoy Sarah Connor Chronicles.
I enjoyed it. I won't say I loved it, but I did enjoy
I
it.
was pissed when it wasn't renewed after the writer's
Except
strike.
for that whole 3 dots thing that they never resolved.
Yeah, exactly.
And
There was
everywhere she was looking, it was 3 dots, 3 dots, 3 dots.
yeah. No, I missed that. Okay, I'm probably one of the only one that actually love Terminator 3. Reason being is that at that time in my life, I was tired of movies. There you go. I was tired of movies like, Jet Li's The One, right? Where they're preventing one guy to kill all the version of himself so that he's not going to become the one.
There was so much wasted potential in that movie.
There was.
This hurts. This hurts, by the way, the steelbook when you hit it on your head.
Oh yes,
It does. So the one really pissed me off. Like, I'm like, why couldn't they kill him and then have the one? Just for fun. That would have been nice.
Or the last one you have, where the one was actually Kellyanne Moss. It really wasn't Neo, which is crazy. Oh look, another one.
Not the one. That movie, the one. Anyway.
Oh, you're talking Jet Li. I'm sorry.
Yeah, exactly. So and all the movies prevented the apocalypse. All the movies prevented everything. And then you get to Terminator 3.
This one right here.
And they don't prevent the apocalypse. The apocalypse freaking happens, and it makes sense. So I loved it.
Oh,
and then after that,
I liked it.
I love that. And then after that, they did that Christian Bale one, which could have been canon, because
hold on,
it's
Salvation.
Salvation to me was what
at the time. At the time, I just raved over that.
This was a Mick G, wasn't it?
Yes, Mick G.
It's pretty badass, and if it.
But
to me, it got as
a couple of times, and you go to thinking about it, you're like,
it got as close as you could do at the time for if the wars actually started in that day and time. You know what I mean? I feel like they got it as close, because of course
the only thing we don't have with Terminator is the first run, right? You have the first movie is the second run because Kyle Reese is sent back in time to kill John Connor. We never had any story as to how Skynet originally started because according to the Terminator timeline, Skynet was created by Cyberdyne, and then after that the U.S. military or whatever because of the interference of time travelers. We've never had how Skynet became aware
come around to begin with,
But I didn't. Salvation, I thought was okay. That could have been a sequel to Terminator 3. Like what happens because he has the tape from her mom.
Terminator 3, we still had the James Cameron all the way through Terminator 3, and then Cameron left it essentially because he had always said first Terminator, second Terminator was done.
He didn't do 3.
He didn't do 3.
He told Schwarzenegger. He told Schwarzenegger, "Go ahead, do it because you are the Terminator, but I'm done."
Yeah, he was done with it after 2. He said that was the end of the story.
Some kind of influence. It's whatever it was. The creative team. They must have had the same creative team because it still feels those first 3 films feel like
it's a
prequels feel. they feel like George Lucas's prequels feel to Star Wars, if you know what I mean. So they feel like they're Cameron related, even if they're Cameron adjacent.
And Ed and I've talked about this a lot, and I don't know how you feel about Genesis, Raz.
I like Genesis.
I liked Genesis. And I think, and Ed and I've talked about it so many times, that the reason it did so poorly at the box office was because they ruined the big surprise in the trailer. That John Connor was the Terminator.
Wow, just the movie poster. The movie poster ruined it.
It was the dumbest thing they could have done.
If that was the big reveal, that was their big reveal. And why did they blow their load so soon?
It's the second dumbest reveal, right? Being the first one in the history of movies, the stupidest trailer is Star Trek Episode 1 revealing Darth Maul's dual lightsaber in the trailer. Imagine the reaction of people watching it on screen for the first time and then saying, holy shit, but by the time you're just waiting to see it.
If you've never watched Clone Wars and you never saw any of the animated stuff and you were just strictly a film person and you went from episode 1 to what is it, Rogue One, where you see was it Rogue One at the end credit scene or was it something else where
it was Solo that had Maul in it.
Solo, that was it. Yeah.
What?
And you were
I missed that.
Yeah, because he was part of the crime syndicate at that point. But you didn't know the last time you saw him, he was cut in half and went down a shaft.
Yeah.
Which apparently that doesn't mean anything for
bad guys. If you didn't,
because somehow Palpatine returned, right?
Right.
But
somehow.
And that makes me think of something else. That makes me think of how much I love Ian McDiarmid. If nobody else was a good actor in the prequels or any of the films, it was Ian. He was the best actor by far. He totally was.
Stamp. You had Terrence Stamp in that film. I forgot. He was the Supreme Chancellor.
I forgot that was Terrence Stamp.
Liam Neeson.
Yeah, I know.
Come on, man. He was a huge name at the time.
But really, somebody said it this way. They said, and it might have been that guy from I can't remember. I told you his videos, and I don't remember his name, of course. But Ian McDiarmid was really episode 1 through 9 is really, it's about Palpatine. It's about Palps. It's really the story of Palpatine. It's
all about Palps.
Because think of it, your original trilogy was Luke Skywalker. The prequels were Anakin. Then it's like, okay, he's the guy. And it was also about the beginning of the anti-hero kind of thing, where we take a villain who's the most vicious person and we humanize them, which can be good, but can be bad, but it makes for, a better Joker. It makes for a better Thanos, they're kind of justified, but still, then you get to the Disney trilogy, and the Disney trilogy it's all about Palpatine. So,
I don't think it was originally.
Hold on. I need to speak first. Sorry.
Sure.
Go ahead. The dumbest thing about the sequel trilogy is Palpatine.
It is
because it starts with everybody heard the Emperor's message. You know what? That was a bullshit opening, text scrolling thing. That was bullshit because I don't play Fortnite, and that's the only or is it Overwatch? I don't know. That's the only fucking place you heard that speech that that Palpatine was came back.
Right. That wasn't
in episode 7. It wasn't in episode 8. It's just freaking Palpatine's there, and apparently everybody heard like his podcast. What the hell? That was terrible. And then he's there, and he's just like with
I think there were so many. There was
what it was is everybody had.
There was just a lot of missteps. But if I had to choose one that's actually watchable out of those 3, it's going to be The Force Awakens.
I got to tell you why that happened. Exactly why that happened. Everybody, you see, at the end of like Return of the Jedi, everybody was subscribed to Palpatine's podcast, and somehow when he came back, they were still subscribed. It's when your favorite YouTuber goes several years and they come back.
There you go.
That's
hey guys, I'm sorry. It's 11. I have to do a long ride tomorrow morning, so I'm gonna have to ditch you right now.
Okay.
But this was fun.
Thank you for being
Not
here.
a problem. We're glad to have you.
It was fun, and Probably.
Where can people find
my
you?
freaking quit button.
Where can
Out
people
there on the
find you?
screen.
It's on the screen.
Well, yeah, follow Raz on YouTube at Razyel Kayne Reviews. You can find me on Discord. And actually, don't look. I'm not there. I play on Steam as Razyel Kayne. You can maybe find me there. But Facebook, Instagram, YouTube are the main spot where you'll find me. Don't forget to check out my sponsor, DJC Collectibles, where at the end of my videos, you can get your 10% discount code for anything Transformers. That's pretty much it.
What about your OnlyFans page?
A what?
Your OnlyFans page.
No, actually, I had to shut that down. My wife was pissed. So, yeah.
He was like,
All right.
watch me transform.
Take care, man. Thank you so much for being here.
Exactly. Well, yeah, it was fun. Thanks, guys. So we'll see you around. And
right,
go next time I'm here, you better have watched The Big Lebowski, and we're going to talk about that.
Yes, sir.
All right. Take care, guys.
Bye.
All right.
Cool. Well, thank you, Raz.
But
yeah,
I don't know if you've seen it, Ed, but there was an interview with what's his name that plays Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
Where they were talking about it wasn't actually a story, but they did kind of an outline of what his arc was going to be, and it was going to be the reverse of Darth Vader's.
He was going to
start out not so much into the dark, and then by the end, he was supposed to be the most evil MF around.
Somebody was mentioning that. They said they should have went that way, and I was like, oh my gosh, you didn't see the interview. You know, because that's originally how it's supposed to be.
They would have, except for Ryan Johnson wanting to subvert all our expectations.
Oh, God.
Yeah, we're back to that again.
That train is never late. The Last Jedi
it's
train.
Never late, and it never leaves the station.
Because you expect it to leave the station, so it doesn't.
That's right. So it doesn't. It
doesn't do what a train should. But you know, I just was really trying to put myself. It's so easy when you're on YouTube and other social media to be the toxic kind of fandom, even if they're right about some things. You know, it never just let's do those points and then let's say some good things about it. It's always super negative, and I hate that. And it just
I don't really.
I don't like that.
I'm of the mind that, you know, if there's something bad about it, if there's something wrong with, call it out. You know, call them out on it. But you don't have to do it every single time you're on social media.
But you should like, share, subscribe, and ding that bell and all that stuff.
Yes, all that stuff, because that's good stuff.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
And
but it's like, you know, okay, to say you're a critic about something and it's your job to be on there and to point all this stuff out. Okay, but after a while, when it becomes, there's a difference when, okay, it's Brie Larson, and even if it's not even something she's starring in Captain Marvel or something or anything MCU, if she even says anything, then it's like, let's hate on Brie Larson. It's like, I don't care enough about Brie Larson either way. You know, leave her alone. You know, if she's not acting well,
she's not
leave her
that
alone.
good of an actress.
Right. You know, if she's doing something terrible on a certain film, then so be it. Call her out about that. Well, not her per se, but
call out that there's a problem. But you don't have to harp on
how it's written.
You don't have to make a whole.
And yes, I know that's what
2-hour show about how much you hate something.
But
it'd be nothing but hate.
Since I've been podcasting, and you know this, you podcasted with me as well.
Unless
we're not about.
Unless we're talking about The Last Jedi, and then it can be like 3 hours, 4 hours, 5 hours of hate.
It can be for you, but you know me, I can still find good things about The Last Jedi.
I went to the theater and saw it 20 times.
5 times. It's a beautifully shot film. They should have killed Luke Skywalker right there, because they did. They already had murdered his character. I totally disagree the way that they took his character. It was completely wrong. But cinematography, beautiful cinematography. The whole disappearing and going into the Force, yes, that makes sense. But it's not what we needed. It's not what we expected of our Luke Skywalker. You know, so they get criticism for that. But I can still find it's, and I'll have to bring this up, X-Men: The Last Stand. I think they did the best they could. Fox, in the time frame, with in the time frame they made that
Brett
with
Ratner.
I know with the budgets they had back then, So, I don't hate things. And will I watch those if they come on? Yeah, I'll watch them. But,
Well, it's like I said, I don't know. We were talking about it the other day, or if it was on the last podcast or whatever. X3. If I'm doing a marathon of Fox X-Men movies,
right.
then yes, I probably will watch X-Men 3. I might not enjoy it,
right,
but I'll watch it because it's part of it. Now,
and it's not the
with that
performance,
said,
it's the storyline.
With that said, if I'm having a Star Wars marathon, I'm completely skipping the sequel trilogy.
Right. Well, the thing is, it's like of the Fox films, I can't really say that any actors really that I can think of off the top of my head did a piss poor job in acting. I just feel like
it has nothing to do with the acting.
It never had anything for me to do with the acting.
It was the script. To me, it was just the story. It was done.
Yeah. Of course,
it was almost like they half-assed it.
Right. Well,
because you go from Bryan Singer, who was a fan of the comics,
right,
and then you go to Brett Ratner, who probably has never read a comic book in his life. And so, and he's the director, so he's making changes and he doesn't really understand what he's changing.
Right. And people to Dark Phoenix, I still think that's a good film. It's not a great film. It's not the worst film. It's
not the worst film.
But what really irks me is the wokeness in it where Mystique's character, and I can't think of the actress, and I know she's just whatever, I'm not blaming the actress.
She's whistling Mockingjay.
Yeah. I can't think of her name, but
Katniss Everdeen.
Yeah, which I didn't watch those, but
I can't think of her name either. And I know it's on the tip of my damn tongue. And I can't think.
But she was a good Mystique. But the thing is, when she goes, the women are always saving the men around here. It ought to be called the X-Women. I'm like, really?
Yeah.
Really? If we switch the tables on that, and it was called the X-Women, and a man came in there and said, the guys are usually saving everybody on the team. It should be called the X-Men. There'd be, oh, how dare him?
Yes, it would be evil.
It would be evil. And, honestly, that little bit of that doesn't ruin the film for me because I just watched it the other day, or at least a good portion of it. And when I got to that part, it was just, and she's talking about, it's about your ego, Charles. It's about the awards you're getting and all that. And he's like, I'm doing this to put a public face that's positive on the mutants because we're one tragedy away from them turning on us again like they used to. And when Charles lays it down like that, and then later on, of course, he cowtails, I'm so sorry, it was all my ego. And it wasn't. I hate that they kind of undid.
Well, I think it's a little
story there.
I think it's a little bit, I think there's a lot of ego with Xavier when he's talking about his dream. It's his dream.
Well, honestly, it was his dream.
And, you don't hear Magneto run around talking about his dream of,
he doesn't talk, he does.
Unpeaceful coexistence.
While they're talking, what did he say in one of the films? While you're talking here, it was probably Ian McKellen's. While you're busy talking, it might have been an X3. While you're busy talking, they're getting ready to put you in camps or something, like they're passing the law and all that stuff. And so,
and I really love when they go when they refer back to Magneto as having been in a concentration camp. And I mean, and I know we're getting a little too far along in time now to do that in film and animation and stuff like that. That's going to be set in modern times,
right?
And probably the first 3 X-Men films is the last time that they can really get away with doing that.
Well, it's a sign of the times because you can't really honestly do a Superman film and say truth, justice, and the American way.
Oh,
'Cause the
and no, I
American
take
way
that
is-
back. I take that back. Remember, they did it in First Class too,
Yeah,
but
but
you know
the thing
that
is
was
that
set back in the 60s.
you don't forget that 9/11 happened. You don't forget that the Holocaust happened because it's out of fashion or to
Right,
talk about
right.
it. You know, you still remember those things. You don't harp on them, but you remember so that we don't. And the X-Men has been a perfect allegory for that, you know, for people that are unjustly treated, for, you know, oppressive human
For being
rights,
different.
for being different, for being born different, for whatever, you know. And so, you know, if there's any franchise, and I've said this, and I'll probably say this in the future too, if there's any franchise that lends itself to wokeness, unfortunately, not unfortunately, it's the X-Men, because they would tackle stuff like that.
Well, I wouldn't
The
necessarily
legacy
say
virus was the AIDS virus, and
I
you
wouldn't
know,
necessarily say wokeness,
well,
but it's definitely the most social commentary
right, they were dealing with
book
racism, they were
that
dealing with
Marvel
discrimination,
has
and,
done.
and
Well, maybe not now, but
calling people mutants, you know, is just an
yeah, that
allegory
was
for, you
for
know,
calling them something else,
for being,
a
you
racial
know,
slur.
a racial slur, or being gay, or being whatever, and I get that that franchise has that built into it, you know, whether it's true or not, because there's been debate back and forth. But I saw a clip of an interview, assuming it wasn't AI generated. I don't think it was, but it said where Stan Lee was talking about um, Professor X when he created him. He was the template of Martin Luther King, and then Magneto was the template of Malcolm X. And there's the strategies and the way that both of them people approached civil rights.
I can see that. I can see that because
And
yes, they both had a very, very different approach.
and help me out, because I can never remember this actor's name. I call him Desposito, and I know that's not his name. Juan.
You talking about the Chicken Man from Breaking Bad?
No, I'm talking about Moff Gideon. Yes. Okay. I didn't watch
that's the
Breaking Bad.
same dude. He's the Chicken Man from
Yes.
from Breaking Bad.
Fantastic actor. He would make a great Xavier.
Esposito is his last name. Yeah.
Yes, Esposito. Okay. He would make a great Professor X.
Giancarlo Esposito.
That's it.
That's his name.
Also, he has an awesome name I can never remember, and he's an awesome actor. He can play a great Magneto. I mean, Professor X, but he can play an even better villain, or villain, if you want to call villain.
Yeah,
Magneto.
but then I don't know. I mean, it's like I said, it's kind of getting to the point that they can't really say Magneto is a Holocaust survivor.
Well, I get that, because it doesn't feel
if they're setting that in a modern time,
right.
That's to say, unless they give Magneto some new special power where he doesn't age like everybody else does.
Yeah, it feels a little creepy on, other than Rogue having the gray hair, which we know she's not that old to essentially have gray hair. We know why she has the gray hair, which they said in the X-Men 2000 film, you know, where she absorbs some Magneto's, right, when he uses her kind of as a vessel to recharge himself or whatever, and she gets some of him, so it's like the gray hair comes from that, which is a good explanation. I don't know how it was in the comics, but
I think she just always had
in
it.
X-Men 97, we don't see her as being that old, and it's almost creepy when they go back and they say older, even though Magneto was younger than whatever that time period was in X-Men 97. She explains that they had they were involved. So it just, and now him being older in the present time and her being older but still younger, it feels a little creepy. But well, I don't know.
The thing, if you go back and you look at some of Rogue's first appearances, she looks like, an older middle-aged housewife is kind of what she looks like. But then as it goes along and she becomes a more popular character, she magically becomes younger looking until you get to the Jim Lee era.
Right.
And, that's mostly what people think about when they think about Rogue.
Mm-hmm.
That's
and I'm just happy that, I have nothing against the actress that played Rogue in the original Fox X-Men, but we need the
Anna
Southern.
Paquin.
Yeah, Anna Paquin. She was great, Suki and True Blood and all that. But she was not the Rogue that we needed. We needed the kind of sexed up version that we had in the comics. And we got a more
we needed the Jim Lee version. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, sir. We did. We do. I'm happy with Rogue now, but did you see somebody did a cover, like a comic book cover, and it was from Bright Eyes, episode 7, I think, where she's going after Gyrick, Rogue is, and remember Captain America, she talks to Captain America, and she's got the shield, and it's got her holding the shield, and the front cover is. This is Captain America's ass. He's got Rogue's ass. From the animated series, and you're seeing his butt kind of like this.
Yes,
and
that was
she's
America's
like,
ass.
That's America's ass. It's hilarious. But gosh.
Hey, guess what?
What are you showing?
Shit, you can't see it. Now this is pod racing.
Oh, that's cool. There you go. That's appropriate for today. It's
I thought you'd like that one.
I don't know if we'll make it to we've almost at 2 hours on the live stream here, but
I know that's your favorite line out of episode 1.
Now this is pod racing. I sit in a theater and yeah.
Did you quote Jar Jar line for line in the theater?
No, but you should have seen me at the beginning with Palpatine, and I was like mouthing the words, and I was like, okay, I need to stop. And I know I was probably doing it out loud. But I was thinking, episode 1, I've seen it so many times, and I've seen it in theaters, of course. The last time I saw it was when let me show you the poster. When it was 3D. Yeah,
when it was 3D.
And I've got to hang this up.
Got to get you a frame for it, man. You better measure it out.
See it on the big screen. Let's see. This is probably not going to unroll too well. And, this is the original poster from episode 1, The Phantom Menace, in 3D. Can you see that?
Yep.
Okay. And that was when was that? February 10th?
That was during the 3D craze.
Oops. I can't hear you. Got to put my headphones back on. Sorry.
I said that was during the 3D craze. I don't remember when that was, but it's been a while back.
And now. I think it was around the time he was about to bring all of the films back out in 3D.
He was, and then episode 1 did very poorly.
And I think this is when the Disney he was in talks with Disney to sell. So I think it was around that same time, roughly. But oops.
It probably was, because I think Disney was the ones that made the decision not to do the rest of the films in 3D.
Yeah, because we know now why. Because they didn't like none of it. They wanted to move on and do their version.
Yes, they wanted to create their own stuff.
That's
Kathleen Kennedy. Poop on you, Kathleen Kennedy.
Why? But what else are your thoughts about? I mean, in hindsight, where do you think the prequels stand in your eyes?
I enjoy the prequels now. I mean, you have to take it for what it is, especially especially with episode 1. Not as much with 2 and 3, but with episode 1, you have to. A story has to start somewhere. It sometimes has roots that are not very exciting.
Oh, yeah, and I need to tell you this. We had a. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry. It's kind of, I guess it's kind of a product of its time, but it was kind of a thing where really George Lucas was at his height. Right.
And whether, it was justified or not, I think a lot of what he did for episode 1 was just kind of hubris and just he wanted to prove that he could do it. because they developed all these computer stuff for without ILM developing
that
these
is actually
CGI
true.
things.
There was a
There
documentary
never would
a
have
few
been
years
movies
ago.
like Jurassic Park.
A few years ago, or maybe more than a few years ago, there was a documentary about episode 1, and it was almost a proof of concept, is what episode 1 was. And he was still trying to push the technology, which he did through episode 2 and episode 3. That's why we had Puppet Yoda originally, until they went
in episode 1. And oh God,
Right.
it looked horrible.
It did, and it didn't look
so
so.
bad.
Some of it didn't look so bad today on the big screen, but I noticed some of the backgrounds early on in the film, and this is because in theater, so it's 4K, right?
Right.
Some of the scenes, even though there were people moving in the backgrounds, when it has that, what is it called? Where it's something of focus in photography.
Soft focus.
Not soft focus necessarily, but where the people look like they're in 3D in the foreground and the background's blurred. It's I can't think of the term. I know I say it all the time and I can't think of it now. But anyway, some of it didn't hold up. And I was watching something the other day. God, I wish I could remember what it was. It might have been on my 4K television.
Back then, there was no 4K. They weren't even imagining that there was going to be that high of a resolution on stuff back in '99.
Yeah, and so I try not to watch it with 2024 eyes. I try to realize what 1999 was trying to put myself in that frame of mind.
That stuff was never meant to be in 4K.
Right.
And I understand that I understand for new formats you want to take classic movies that people are going to watch and you want to upgrade them to that new visual standard, but it doesn't always work to the advantage of the film.
Right.
Black and white films were never meant to be colorized.
Though some that I've seen that they've taken real good care of work. Some of them do.
Oh, I'm not going to say it doesn't. It doesn't.
Right.
There's not occasions where it doesn't work. There are occasions when it works, but does it work for everything? No, because
all of that like 3D
it makes it. Sometimes it makes it look fake, and it makes it look bad.
It does.
And it's the same thing with
honestly when I'm watching Star Trek. I'm watching Voyager on Heroes, and it's Heroes and something. There's a network called Heroes, and it's not Heroes and Villains. Heroes and some H&I or something. It's an actual network, and they show Enterprise, Next Generation, Voyager, and I usually record Voyager off of that. And on my 4K television, some of the backgrounds and the star fields and stuff like that don't hold up that well.
Well, you got to remember the only Star Trek series that got
1080p.
The HD treatment, and that was upgrading it up to 1080p.
Was that Enterprise?
When they put it on Blu-ray, was the original series. Okay. It got upgraded, and that's when they added all the new special effects and stuff.
Okay.
The CGI effects, and the Next Generation.
Yeah.
And then I want to say Enterprise was aired in HD.
I think so, yeah, because it was a thing by then.
And so I think it didn't have to have that upgrade treatment because it was already in.
Right, it was already digital.
Up to 1080.
1080 standards.
So, but Deep Space Nine and Voyager have never gotten the upgrade treatment. They probably never will get the upgrade treatment.
Right.
Especially Deep Space Nine. Deep Space Nine, Paramount treats Deep Space Nine like the redheaded stepchild. Yeah. And, they don't like it.
It wasn't my favorite.
I've said it before. It's not my favorite show, but I think it was out of all the 3 shows of that, or the 4 shows of that generation, TNG, Deep Space Nine, Voyager, and Enterprise, I think it was the best written.
Well, there was some Next Generation episodes that were top.
There were, yeah. But how much of that was script and how much of that was Patrick Stewart?
I don't know.
And on
that's
Deep Space Nine, you had the scripts trying to live up to Avery Brooks.
Yeah.
You didn't have that so much on Next Generation. The scripts weren't trying to live up to Patrick Stewart. Patrick Stewart just kind of,
he always elevated what
he shined it up. You know what I mean? Especially when you look at episodes like Darmok and Jalad at Tanagra. That episode, I mean, that was a fantastic episode.
And
that
was really delved into
the so good. The writing was good, but I think
it really was an interesting episode because we got into linguistics. Really dealing with a truly alien culture, and a lot of people couldn't understand them the way they talked, and to speak in metaphors, which people do all the time now. It's like that was coming at it from a very good angle. Other than we just can't understand your language.
But if you take that episode, and I'm going to say that's probably one of the best written Next Generation episodes. But if you take that and you put it up against, say, By the Pale Moonlight, I think is the title of the episode in Deep Space Nine, the one where it starts off, Sisko's making his log, and he's talking about how him and Garrick plan to get the Romulans involved in the war on the side of the Federation and the Klingons, and it all just spins out of control. I mean, that, to me, that is probably the best episode of Star Trek. Not of Deep Space Nine.
Yeah.
Not of that era. I think that is the best episode of Star Trek.
Well,
and of course, that's my opinion.
Yeah.
Your mileage may vary.
My mileage definitely varies, and it was of the time. I really loved Next Generation so much that I didn't even give Deep Space Nine much of a chance, because I was just like all about. And even when it was over, I was still watching reruns.
Those first 3 seasons of Deep Space Nine they're a bit of a chore to get through.
If you're trying to watch seasons of Star of Undiscovered Country of Next Generation, some of those are hard to watch now.
Those first 2 seasons are very difficult to watch.
They are difficult to watch.
Voyager's first 2 seasons are hard to watch.
Basically, somebody
said really not till the 3rd season.
When
the show doesn't really hit its stride until the 3rd season.
When Janeway cut her hair, she changed her hairstyle.
But
people comically say that when she had the shorter hairstyle.
But it's true.
It's when the series got better. And I know it had nothing to do with her hairdo, but it's
no. It just
they were into the characters by then, and there's
And again, like I said, once you hit that third season, the writers have learned the characters.
Right. The actors
have learned the characters, and
they've been able to.
It's like
probably
they
enjoy playing the characters more
there.
Yeah, because they've enjoyed the characters more, I think, because they're putting more of them a personality. They know the storyline of their character.
When when the cast and crew
gel
really mesh together.
Yeah.
And I don't know how much of that was on Deep Space Nine. I don't know how much they gelled together, because Avery Brooks seems a little
standoffish,
aloof, and weird.
Yeah.
And now I know he and Cyril Lofton that played Jake Sisko, they had a pretty good relationship, but I think that was from the point of Brooks was teaching Lofton about the act of or the craft of acting.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, you had so many amazing actors on there. I mean, Renee Auberjonois.
Yeah.
And
Odo.
Odo. And Armin Shimmerman.
He might have been my favorite character.
I have never heard of Armin Shimmerman before that, but oh my God, he was perfect for that role of Quark. I mean, and Andrew Robinson playing Garrick. I mean,
he was a Cardassian, right, Garrick?
Yeah, he was the Cardassian, the Taylor.
I liked his.
Just plain simple Garrick. Anything but.
Yeah,
and then
he was very interesting.
And some of the other people kind of had to grow into their roles.
Right.
Like Nana Visitor playing Kira. Now, of course,
Well, look at Deanna Troy.
Colm Meaney that played O'Brien. He had already been playing his character pretty much off and on for.
And he really didn't get the respect until he went over. He didn't get the respect until he went to Deep Space Nine.
I swear, the writers of Deep Space Nine must have hated O'Brien because they shit all over him all the time.
I know, but he was
got the shitty end of the stick, and
he got more respect. At least he got better storylines than he had.
Oh,
he was kind of in between.
He was a secondary character.
He was a secondary
character on.
And they wouldn't let him. And there were times he was became like a primary character, even for an episode. But then they wouldn't leave him there, and they couldn't figure him out.
Well, they had 7 regular characters that they were already juggling. But when you get to Deep Space Nine, I mean, my God, how many characters they were juggling there, and it was just. Yeah. And there were so many.
Well, for me,
actors.
One of the things that worked for Voyager was that it's in the title. They were voyaging. They were always going somewhere new each week, which felt like Star Trek should be.
That
Next Generation was that way.
Well,
Deep Space Nine was just this.
The thing about the Next Generation and the first 2 years of it was, I mean, if you pay attention in Encounter at Farpoint.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's like the Enterprise. That's like the edge of known space. Encounter at Farpoint. It's the edge of known space.
Right.
And then for those 2 years, the first 2 seasons, that's what they're doing. They're out exploring unknown space. But then by the 3rd season, they're brought back in to, and it's not that they're not exploring unknown space, because sometimes they are doing that. But a lot of times they're dealing with diplomatic situations or situations where it's the flagship, so they have to go there and wave the flag. And that's really not what Gene Roddenberry wanted to do. He wanted to be like the original series where they were off on a 5-year mission out in deep space and just exploring crap.
Right.
But I think that crew worked better from 3rd season on when they weren't strictly doing that. And then with Voyager, Berman wanted to get back to that, the original show's premise where they were exploring strange new worlds where it was different all the time, and you weren't dealing with. You finally getting around to open that up?
I haven't taken them out the package, my Cyclops, but I like the ID thing. Looks really weird, but it's kind of cool.
But Berman wanted to get back to that TOS feeling with Voyager, where it was fresh and it was the unknown and we hadn't seen it. And then of course, that didn't completely work. So
a lot of people
it's the Borg.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Yeah,
they lean
heavily into the Borg. Yeah, I'm like, they're not supposed to have a queen, and then we got, because I think
that was when after that was after First Contact when they started encountering the Borg. Yeah,
that's right.
It wasn't until I think there might have been an episode or 2 where they ran across some Borg stuff in the 3rd season. So they were building up to it, and then the 4th season there was more of it until like halfway through, and then you got full on. You were running into the Borg. And they ran into, 7 to 9. And
guess what? Our next episode of Geek Home will be 175.
Woohoo!
Yay. Amazing.
Yes. How many episodes can you talk about nothing?
Many. As many as I want.
Just shoot the breeze.
Yeah.
Although I will have to say, you did try this time. You had an outline. We had homework. It was prepare.
I forgot about that. You have to remind me about that. I was like, why is he bringing up Lebowski? I'm not even a fan of that film so much, but I'll watch it. I mean,
I had never seen it all the way through. I've seen like bits and pieces
that's
of it here
exactly
and
what
there.
I've done.
And it's a fun movie.
Well, for economic reasons and just trying to stay within a budget, I pretty much cut my film channels off to hardly anything. I think I have.
Well, if you've got that Disney Plus bundle,
I do have Disney Plus. So is it on there?
Yeah, but do you have the bundle with like Hulu?
I think I have them separate somehow. I don't know.
Dude, you combine them together, it's cheaper.
Yeah, there's something that we got to do. We had it for a certain thing when it first came out. We got it when it first came out. So, and then I want to say it's like 139, but I don't know. I don't remember now.
So, but anyway, if you have Hulu, Big Lebowski is on Hulu. So
okay. Yeah, I've got so many other things I swear I'm going to watch that I just never get around to.
Oh, I know. I got.
It's not changed over the years.
I'm eventually going to get around to watching like Secret Invasion, maybe.
God, don't. No. It sucked.
I feel like I have to. And then I'm not looking forward to it. I'll try to watch the first episode, and I don't even think I made it.
I'm sure there's something I needed you to watch. Watch the Terminator films. Watch something else, anything.
But so I'm watching X-Men the animated series instead. I made it to season 5, episode 1.
Yeah, I hope we didn't ruin it. Well, Raz said he wanted to know what was going on, but I didn't even.
Well, I don't think I don't think we really delved into it that much.
I wanted to. Well, to be honest, on this episode, I was trying. It took me a while to get things going because you guys, which is great. I'm not complaining, but y'all were kind of going off of a script, and I'm like, okay, I just let it flow.
Well, I didn't know we were gonna like redo the intro and all that.
I didn't know we were doing that either because we just kind of went in and y'all started talking and like, okay.
Yeah, well, I started, we started having
Plus,
conversation
I was tweaking.
because it seemed like you were busy doing something.
Well, I was trying to tweak a few things that, and then I realized my Audacity isn't doing what it's supposed to do or how it's supposed to do it. So I don't know what's going on.
Man, you need to like
reverse.
Yeah, uninstall it. Not uninstall it, but do your backup from a couple of weeks ago or whatever.
I guess, but I don't want to lose anything else on the computer. I don't know what I've done since then. But
it shouldn't affect it shouldn't affect the files. Or maybe it does. I don't know.
It's Windows 11. It could do anything.
I don't know enough about computers anymore.
The new thing that people are complaining about, since we talk a little bit about tech on the podcast here, not enough, but they added the meta thing. The meta thing into Facebook, and some people have found a way to turn it off because it's AI integrated now. When you search for something or you look up your
that's
page,
on Instagram already, and I fucking hate it.
But there's a way on YouTube that you can disable, and there's probably a way you can disable it too. People have been sharing that. There's probably a way on Instagram to disable it, but I don't really post on Instagram like on this podcast. I should be posting on Instagram, but I need something that'll just put out like I used to have, but they start charging now.
You talking about TweetDeck?
Yeah, I like
TweetDeck. We had TweetDeck, and you could it would upload to Twitter and Facebook and wherever,
Instagram and wherever else you wanted. Now,
that was cool.
Things are behind paywalls and crap, and I'm not going to pay. Mm-hmm. People will find me organically.
It would be different if we were making money doing this.
Well, one day you'll be making it probably before I will. But,
I'll be making my 3 cents.
That's okay. That's 3 more cents
ads,
and then $1.50 of that goes to Uncle Sam. So
that's the bad thing about it. YouTube don't take the taxes out; they just report it.
Right. Oh, that's true.
They just report your earnings.
So if you don't report,
sucks.
Well, they've got to kind of report something. So
no, I'm not saying it sucks that they report. I just wish they would. I wish it was like a W-2 and they already pulled the taxes out. And
then it feels like you're an employee of some sorts, like they owe you more than that, and like healthcare for you.
They should be paying content creators more, and in fact, they should lower the thresholds of to get payment. I think that without the content creators like us,
right?
They don't have a platform.
Here's a legitimate.
It should be a day one thing.
Right.
that if somebody watches ads during one of your things, then you get paid for it.
Exactly. Since they're forcing the ads on you anyway, you
Yeah.
know, and some you can't skip. But you know what there ought to be, and here's another thing, and I don't really want to say this to be ugly because I'm not trying to be ugly. I'm not a mean-spirited person, but it's like I know people that I look up to that have been podcasting as long as I have, if not a couple more years than me, and they're in like Hall of Fames for podcasters, and I'm like, not to take anything away from their achievements, but you know, and longevity doesn't mean you're good just because you've been doing something forever. You could do something forever and suck. But what the content I create is good content, and nobody thinks they put out bad content, I'm sure. But I put out good content, sometimes better than others. And but you know, I ought to be in a Hall of Fame. I'll probably never be in a Hall of Fame. And I, you know, for like what you and I have accomplished, you know, feels like, you know, somewhere down the road we ought to get some accolades for that. But
Well,
you know, you can't say stuff like that because then, oh, you're egotistical. No, we're not.
yeah, yeah. I don't see Digital Man Cave ever winning any kind of awards except for maybe the FDFFR award.
Well, I tell you
We
what,
might win that one.
that's one of my fan claims. I apparently had a fan of there that grew up on our show, and in the same city I moved to. What are the chances? Of course, I hadn't heard from him since. So,
Well, yeah.
he's happy on
Never
Twitch.
meet your heroes, right?
Anyway, it's like,
Oh man, I used to love that Savage Tech Man dude, and then I met him. Oh God, he's so boring.
he sucks. He's so boring. He's old, boring, gray
He's
fart.
gray.
Stupid Gen Xer. He probably doesn't even care.
They call him Savage Graybeard.
There's nothing savage about him. His breath. I don't know. The important thing is to have fun, you know. But I wish they'd take away the whole this, and of course, only people that haven't succeeded at it will always say this. But I just wish they would take away the whole competitiveness of it. I wish everybody had an equal chance to be heard. Their channels. I wish the algorithm wasn't. You know, you have to have a certain
not the way the world works, unfortunately.
I know. I wish it wasn't you had to do the quick cut style, because even the way I make titles, I know mine is extremely long. I really need to shorten some of these titles. I don't know. I keep putting live stream in there because I want people to know it was live stream. That's why the audio might not be so great because I'm using the free version of StreamYard, you know. But now if I got my Rodecaster Pro hooked in, maybe it's a little bit better, but at least the video won't be, you know. So, yeah, I wish it was just more kind of like YouTube was in the beginning. And I wish you and I would have jumped on board when I wanted to jump on board with it. Of course, we didn't have the technology. It was much more expensive.
It wasn't like it is now.
We had dial-up. It wasn't the same. You couldn't really.
Well, I ain't going back that far, but you know, I'll go as far back as DSL.
Yeah,
but
but I wish there was a lower tier. I would create, if I were in charge of YouTube, I would create a lower tier where, you know, 50 subs or something like that. I don't know, like a really low. I would have different tiers from 0 to 50, and you might not be monetized, but the algorithm would push you around at least in that level. And then maybe the 50 to 100, there'd be another level that has more people in it, you know. And if it saw something that was interesting, or if the algorithm is smart enough to know you had a really solid episode, but you just don't know how to market yourself too well, you know, or something like that, maybe it would once in a while, like once a month, push one of your episodes up into the rotation of the 50 to 100 at least.
I think what it all boils down to is the algorithm is designed only to push content that's going to make YouTube money.
And I can't fault them for that.
I can't either. I mean, it's a business. Do I wish it was different? Yeah. Like I said, I think content creators should be getting paid something just putting content on here.
But I don't want the shock value. Somehow there's got to be a way where it's not, you know, we make fun of Mike Zero, but Mike Zero, you know, with the hashtags.
He knows it, man. He knows it with those damn buzzwords. I mean, and he says them so much, it just drives me nuts and I can't watch him.
Yeah.
And it might be that he has decent information, but the way that he presents
the last video of his I watched, I don't recall that many buzzwords unless I don't know what the buzzwords are. That could
and his his thumbnails are sometimes really, really misleading. And I know that's a thing on YouTube that a lot of people do that, but I don't
It's
believe
called
in that.
clickbait. Yeah.
I don't believe in clickbait. I believe in your thumbnail should represent what you are presenting.
And that's kind of what mine are here. I don't always, I try to find a frame where I'm smiling or looking positive because we're pretty positive people, but it's like, I know I could put a lot more effort into it, but in the end of the day, it's, I don't want to be doing what other people are doing. I don't want to be following trends and all that. I want to just be giving our unique perspective. And I
Yes,
hope
and
that's what
unfortunately,
our
that's the
followers
way
are
you
looking
make
for.
money is following these damn trends.
Yeah.
And like I said, I think those kind of tactics are disingenuous,
Exactly.
and there should be, penalties if you are misrepresenting what you're doing. Yeah, I don't feel so claustrophobic now.
Yeah, I was like, I like kick way back in my chair here, so that's a little better angle, a crop to lay out there. Look, I got my Revenge of the Fifth poster.
I don't believe in misrepresenting your product, or I was raised up that you tell the truth and you be
Justice
honest,
in the American way,
and truth, justice in the American way.
Yeah, and like if all of a sudden my podcast blew up and I was like super famous or something, I know it probably changes you, but and who you speak with, and
well, unfortunately, it has to change.
It does
in some manner,
and change is good, but sometimes
it's
if
not
you're
always
following trends and stuff like, and you get sucked up in a whirlwind of kind of trends.
The thing about following trends is trends end.
They do. There are trends for a reason. Yeah.
So
they're intrinsically. See what I did there?
I see that. I heard it. I didn't see it.
You heard it. There you go.
Yes. So
hey, if we stay on here 9 more minutes, well, it's 11:51.
9 minutes and 30 or 8 minutes and 30 seconds.
We will reach
2 hours and 30 minutes.
Jesus. Yeah, we'll hit May 5th, 2024. Revenge of the Fifth.
I don't want to be around for Revenge of the Fifth. I don't want to get no revenge on me.
What would the sixth be then? Because then I think about the sixth film. What is the sixth film? Oh, that's Return of the Jedi. What could it be?
Return of the Sixth.
That sounds like Tax Return Day or something.
Yeah, no, that's
April. Yeah,
April 15th.
Yeah,
the Empire is coming for you.
It was refreshing to see Phantom Menace in theaters, and I kind of, it kind of took me back.
I would love for that to be around, near me, and I would like to take my kids to it because my oldest is the only one that I've ever taken to a live action Star Wars movie. Well, to one of the prequels. I take it back. I did take them to see
Rogue One. I feel like
I did take them to see Rogue One, and I did take them to see Force Awakens.
Yeah. Rogue One works so well because it felt like a Clone Wars type of film. It was like a war film.
It was a war movie.
It was a war movie, yeah.
And that's what it was, and that's what it felt like, and that's what they set out to do with it, and they succeeded spectacularly with it. The only Star Wars movie that Disney's done that has been excellent. Now, people like to give Solo a lot of shit, and some of that is deserved, but overall,
it works.
I like Solo. I don't.
It just had
was it the greatest Star Wars movie ever? No, it wasn't the greatest Star Wars movie ever. But it wasn't as bad as some other Disney Star Wars movies we might could name. But I
still to this day,
I think I've harped on that train enough tonight.
I think I was so burnt out on Star Wars Disney
Well,
Star
I
Wars. I
think
should
that's
say
what it was.
that's
I
why
think
I
that
didn't
was a lot of
watch
what happened
Andor.
with Solo too. Is people were so pissed off about that
And-
movie. I don't want to talk about anymore because
Yeah.
it's negative, and it just suffered the backlash of that.
It was
because
nobody wanted that at the time. People wanted an Obi-Wan film, and we later got the series, but people kind of came back around. But that would have an Obi-Wan where he meets Vader film could have worked in that place, but because nobody really wanted a Han Solo film, because there's no way you could do a young Han Solo.
Well, the whole
you
thing
got
was, I think, one of the biggest issues people had with
what's his
it.
name? Chris from Star-Lord could have done a better version of.
No, I don't think so, because Harrison Ford. People talked about him taking over for Indiana Jones, and Harrison Ford said, "Over my damn dead body."
Honestly, I think of
For Han
actors, young
Solo,
actors alive,
he might not care
he
as
could have
much
done it.
about Han Solo because he never really enjoyed that role. He hated the
Right.
dialogue.
And it was it was Harrison Ford that wanted to kill him off in 7, mainly because he probably didn't want to come back.
Because he didn't want to.
Did.
Well, no, he wanted to
he did
kill
later.
Han Solo off in Return of the Jedi.
He did originally, yeah.
And George Lucas didn't want to do it because he wanted Return of the Jedi to have a happy ending, because the way he was looking at it, that was probably the last Star Wars movie he was going to make.
Right.
And even though, he wanted to do the 1, 2, and 3 story eventually, he didn't know if he was ever going to get around to it, or if technology was ever going to get to the point where he could do it the way he wanted to do it. And, so for him, that was at the time the last Star Wars movie, and he wanted it to have a happy ending.
And I can't blame him for that.
He said no. And, Harrison Ford was like, yes, but we want some gravitas to the movie. We want it to have some weight. And, this is a good way to do it. And then I won't have to come back ever.
True.
And I think that's the only reason they got him to come back for The Force Awakens, is because they promised him that they were going to kill Han Solo.
Yeah.
And it probably is. Like I said, he did not. I won't say he hated the role, but he didn't enjoy it.
Right. Yeah, and he's always vocal about that. So, and I respect him for that. Now, had his career not taken off like into the stratosphere,
oh yeah,
he would have had to come back.
I mean, if he hadn't done,
and
he kind of got his name. He kind of got his name out there when he was in American Graffiti,
right?
And then Star Wars blew up.
But it was a shame, like
really got
Carrie
out there.
Fisher and Mark Hamill especially didn't get to have successful careers, even though
especially Mark Hamill, but he's not. He's more voiceover work,
that's what I was going to say.
Voiceovers than in front of the camera. Now, Carrie
he did
Fisher,
so many things iconically.
Had a bad career, but she didn't have a great career in front of the camera.
And some of that was substance abuse and other reasons. But with Mark Hamill,
he had a lot of mental.
Mark Hamill did some things like he is, for some people, he's a definitive Joker.
Oh, definitely.
And he is so good with like voice impressions. And I mean, he even though it was cheesy at the time, he was the trickster and the Flash from the 90s, and then he came back and reprised that.
He was still the Joker in that.
Yeah, basically he was the Joker, you're right. And but still he did enough interesting things in video games and voiceovers, and he found work, so he was never really out of work.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like he didn't work.
He found a different path.
You just didn't see him. He wasn't a movie star.
Yeah.
Like what Harrison Ford was a movie star, And I don't think his career would have exploded as much as it did if it weren't for Indiana Jones. Could you imagine a world where Tom Selleck played Indiana Jones? Because Tom Selleck was,
when he was Magnum PI, yes. When he was Magnum
PI. But here's the thing. That's the Magnum PI is the reason he didn't get to play Indiana Jones.
because it was so popular at the time. Yeah.
No, because the shooting schedules conflicted.
Well,
And he had just got word that Magnum PI was a go.
Yeah.
When they offered him Indiana Jones. And it was going to be Tom Selleck and Sean Young were going to be the headliners.
Interesting. But the thing is, he still is having a great career. So I mean,
who, Tom Selleck? Oh yeah, he had a
Yeah.
fantastic career.
Yeah, he did he did some westerns. He did, of course, Blue
He did
Bloods.
a lot of
still
westerns.
on, I think. So he's become a really good actor, and he's always been a good guy.
Well, he's fixing to retire to his avocado farm with his partner.
Good for him. Yeah, I mean, he's real happy with whoever she is.
That's fine.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's a she. He, she.
It is. It's always been a she. What do you? I've never heard anything.
I don't know. I don't keep up with that. Why would you say partner? I'm going.
Some people are like. Some people are weird about marriage now. I'm not that way, but some people are weird about marriage. They just call people partners because they don't want to. Whatever. I don't know the reasoning.
That ain't the way I understand it, but that's your mileage may vary. People who are listening or watching or whatever.
Yeah, to each
your mileage may vary. I don't understand it to be that way. If you're married, I have a wife, I have a husband. If you're not married,
there's some women that are
my partner,
that are independent, that don't want to, that don't push the fact that they're a missus for business reasons. Some people, men and women, mainly women, will not be Mrs. It might be too confusing, or they use their maiden name, for business reasons. And
that's fine.
That's just a different thing.
Whatever works for tax purposes.
Well, it's not just necessarily for tax purposes. It's also purposes. If you're known, it's almost like actors as well. If you think about it, if you're known,
actors get married and never change their names.
Right. There's no reason to change your name, because then you're messing with your brand in a way.
Exactly.
So,
and 90% of Hollywood names aren't their real names anyway.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, Tom Selleck, he still has a great career, but Harrison Ford he was out of the gate. He was just a good actor, and Air Force One. I mean, we can name tons of films. The Jack Ryan films,
just every action movie in the damn 90s. Harrison Ford,
him.
Almost. Maybe not every. It was every other one.
If it wasn't Robin Williams in something, or Samuel L. Jackson later on.
The 90s was kind of a weird time. I mean, you did have films where the up and comers were starring in it, stuff for younger generation.
Well, before we got the MCU and all that, and everything became oversaturated with superheroes, and everybody had some ability or some superhuman ability. We used to have comedies, and now comedies, I think, are making a bit of a comeback now. Even R-rated comedies.
That's fine.
Somebody pointed out the other day that a lot of the comedies we grew up with, like would have been in our teens and something like that, they were R-rated comedies. We were watching R-rated comedies back then. All turned out well.
We were watching R-rated, everything.
Porky.
Because we had a VHS.
Yeah, and remember, VHS was going to kill the film industry, and it didn't.
Well,
it survived.
There was a certain film industry that it almost destroyed.
Yeah,
them making quote unquote films.
But, artistic.
It went from artsy films to VHS smut. And,
right.
So
but
that's an art form that did get killed by VHS.
I suppose so.
Because they just couldn't keep up with what VHS was putting out. I mean, the amount that VHS was putting out.
Yeah, that's true.
They just that particular film industry couldn't keep up with it, so it had to evolve.
Yeah, and so it's all. I mean, such a kind of nostalgic feel for like '99 because of watching Phantom Menace today, and it just made me think about what everything was like before all this crazy social media, and everybody was so negative, and they were still negative, but it was harder to get people's opinions. you couldn't get it instantly,
Yeah, it's too instant, and it's too much of.
It's too
I won't say
rushed.
there's as much anonymity to it as there was. I mean, if you know what you're doing, you can find out who somebody is. Doesn't matter what name they're using or whatever. If you know your way around stuff, you can find out.
Exactly.
But I mean, there is still a certain kind of level of anonymity to it, and people just feel like there's no consequence, and I can say whatever I want to say
right.
on social media. Now, the social media companies tend to police stuff, and not always for the greater good.
True.
They also follow an agenda, and if you stray outside too far from that agenda, your account gets blocked, or stuff like that.
Yeah, and people are so polarized over their political views and everything else in their media and stuff they consume, and it's a shame because you can't. I wonder if we can never go back to a simpler time where we could totally disagree with someone on social media or on a platform,
and not turn into a battle,
and not devolve into humans versus apes, conquest of the planet of the apes or whatever. It's just not a bunch of craziness and Jerry Springer like activity. It's intelligent disagreements.
Yeah, I blame those talk show hosts. They had that effect on.
And you Generation are not the father.
Yeah, and I mean, it's like, even if you go back to stuff that was more credible than Jerry Springer, like say Geraldo, when he had his talk show in the mid '80s. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I remember.
So I feel like that's a more credible.
He was the one that got his nose busted.
Springer.
Something.
He did.
Something.
Yes, and I was getting to that. He had. Let's see. He was the one. He did a lot of reports on Satanism.
He did the Al Capone's vault, and there was nothing in it.
Yeah.
That was the famous one. It was live
from
TV
the Titanic. Yeah, that was on the Titanic. And
you had that other guy. What was that guy that?
The episode I'm talking about is the one that you're talking about, where he had white supremacists and black supremacists on the same show at the same time on the same stage.
Well, who was the guy that?
It broke out into a riot, and that's where he got a chair. He got hit in the face.
He wasn't mainstream, but he used to push people a lot, and he was in some superhero film, like early superhero film. I don't remember. I can't remember the guy's name, but he used to have a talk show, and he was very kind of. It wasn't Geraldo. It was around that time, but it was the early, Sally Jones and all those, or whoever they were
Phil Donahue.
No, not Phil Donahue. Yeah, I grew up on Phil Donahue and all that.
Yeah, Donahue was like the godfather of all these talk shows,
right? And then Oprah eventually outsold him, and he aged out of whatever of the demographic or whatever, and then all the rest is history. But so it's just very interesting. And like if we look at '99 when Phantom Menace came out originally. Like you said, in the fall was when The Matrix came out that changed everything. That's one of those. That's like what I call one of the Nirvana moments, for film. Though
it's a fixed point.
It is just like an X-Men '97. The last episode is like Gambit's death is a fixed point. That can't be changed. And we got a Carmitage, and Strange,
all kinds of cameos and name drops.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing.
But here we go, man. We've gone 8 minutes past what we said we were going to do.
It is now Revenge of the Fifth.
Revenge of the Fifth.
So who do I need to plot revenge against? Who's on my list?
All of them.
I've been waiting a year to wipe them out. All of them. I don't know. So
that's it for me, my friends.
Yeah, that's it for me. So this So whenever I did we're probably 8 to 10 minutes in the actual live stream before I played the opening again.
The intro the second time.
Yeah, to start the podcast, because I was still kind of setting some stuff up. I guess we should call it maybe I should get a second segment and call it the green room or something like that, where we're kind of talking before we go. So, yeah. But I want to thank everybody. There's some people that popped in and out of the stream here, and I want to thank people that actually left a message or comment on there. M3 Reviews really showed up. I really appreciate you popping in and popping out,
especially since you were there since 3 a.m.
He was there from 3:14 a.m. when I put this up the other day. The chat, and, I'm sure he wasn't in there.
I'm telling you what it was. I posted it on Instagram, and that's at 3 o'clock. That's 3 o'clock our time. He's on the West Coast.
So if any of your followers are out here, do you want to say anything about them? A shameless plug for my podcast.
Yes, listen,
sub. Hit that subscribe button. It really helps.
Yes. One day I'm gonna bell and turn notifications on.
I know it's not much. I got way more followers on the audio side of things, and I was late to the game on YouTube, but I made it up to 55 subs, which is, I think, impressive.
I think that's good. It's not bad.
Right here, this is I have this little book here, this binder where I've been printing them out, and just randomly, the first one I open up to is October 18th of 2020. Look how many subs I had. That's during the pandemic.
Nice. That was the time we both should have really been growing our brand, because
I was thinking
that was before I even got in on YouTube. Was 20. I didn't get in till 21. So
yeah, I was trying to get you into. Well, I've been trying to get you in forever, and then
and I was like, nobody wants to look at this ugly face.
And by the time you got cooking on it, I was like really surprised, and you showed up on the live stream. I was like, oh. He won't live stream with me. He won't even podcast. Wait a minute. I was so mortally offended.
It was the thing.
If someone doesn't talk to me, I'm mortally offended. So, but I got over it. But looking at this, 2020, they went back to. I love that TubeBuddy does this, the free version. I don't know if you can you see that on the screen? Is that?
Yeah, it's kind of.
Okay, what it says is January 1st, how you began, 11 subs, 602 views, 151 uploads. Hey, that's not bad. Oh, then where did it go?
I don't think I got any of those.
You didn't? That was the 2020 year in review. So let's see where I went to.
I never keep the year in review stuff.
And then I had my and for 2020, that's weird. Not many views. Well, it's not really telling me much. So I ended with 25 subs that year, 960 views, and 192 uploads. That was kind of cool. But yeah, that's pretty neat. I've been kind of saving these in like a yearbook kind of thing. But I'm up to 55 subs, and I think I passed. Where is it? Hold on. This is where this is my Savannah on film, which I've actually passed more on that, but my subscribers, I hit 100 back in.
But unfortunately, that one is over.
Well, it's over. It's an indefinite hiatus until I can figure Savannah on film can exist. But
well, you never know. You might can do making on film, and it's how they're wanting to move the new Superman movie into making.
Yeah, they're going to be filming there. Well, I would probably be Augusta on film or something. But yeah, let's see.
Yeah, making still a pretty good.
So from 20 subs in 2020, and that's not super fast growth like everybody else has, like you have.
Oh, mine ain't super fast, man. It ain't.
There was some time during the pandemic when I really should have been recording that a lot of other stuff was happening that I wasn't, and then this year I finally was able to kind of get situated, and moving and getting my studio together, and I'm really pulling things together, but still then I was doing school and just, a lot of stuff happens. So it's kind of cool to look back.
But yeah, I got to go, man.
You gotta run. Well,
they're fussing. Yeah. They're fussing.
I gotta go take care of my puppy too. So thank you so much for being here and all that. Y'all check out Digital K-Man and
yes,
you can just log off and I'll close out.
Plug everything.
Yeah, I'm plugging.
All right, man.
All right, take care. Bye. So that's Digital Caveman. For anybody that's joined us here, so we're going into almost 3 hours. I see we got 3 people on there watching now. So and we lost a couple. Okay. All righty. Well, we're about to close down anyway, but thank y'all so much for being here. Please like, subscribe to the channel. It really helps. Ding that bell if you love this video. If you have any comments on the replay of this, I'll certainly respond to them if you leave any. If you have any questions. I want to also thank Razyel, Kayne. I know I'm just calling you Raz because I always say your name wrong, but check him out on youtube.com. I understand you don't say / you just say /, but youtube.com/@RazyelKayner. Okay, that's let's try that again. It's youtube.com/@Razyel and Kayne, Kayne reviews, REVIEWS, and that's all together. So check out Razyel Kayne at youtube.com/Razyel Kayne reviews, and show him some love and good luck to him and the growth of his channel and all that stuff. Thank Digital Caveman of Digital Caveman Presents. He's on YouTube at youtube.com/@Digital Caveman, and that's with 2 N's. So show him some love, some likes, some subscribers. Thank you, everybody who stopped by. And you can subscribe to us to Geek Homeworld at youtube.com/@GeekHomeworld4248. That's youtube.com/@GeekHomeworld4248. Or just look us up on YouTube, Geek Homeworld, and you'll find us there. And this has been episode 174 live stream, May the X. So may the X be with you. And like we want to say, may the 4th be with you. And as we're recording this now, we're into the 5th. So beware, Revenge of the 5th. So from one Star Wars fan to another, thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to run the outro here. And thank y'all for showing up. And y'all have a great day and be kind to everybody. And may the Force be with you. And there's our stuff there.
Welcome to the Geek Homeworld podcast. I'm your host, Ed, aka the Savage Tech Man. We talk film, TV, and tech, all from a geek perspective. You can find us on X, Instagram, Facebook, and you can subscribe and follow on YouTube at Geek Homeworld. Don't forget to subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. Be a part of the Geek Homeworld.